The moment you've all been waiting for is finally here. It's Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jeff Dye back in the ring for an all-new season of the Wrestling with Freddie podcast.
That's right, Freddie. Get ready as we highlight the most jaw-dropping matches, dissect the fiercest feuds, and uncover the latest twists and turns in the world of pro wrestling.
And we obviously can't wait to hear from you, the Federation. Without you guys, none of this is possible. Listen to Wrestling with Freddie on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, HAPPY. That's happy. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com.
The pounding begins. The wagons are circled. Every wind is raidered. It's football time in America, and this republic has never been stronger. The Sportsocracy, Beer City's best sports talk. Live from the Ingles studio.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, and you can join us in the chat. It is NFL Draft Week.
Oh, Draftmas Week. Oh, Draftmas Week.
Jeremy's got all of the Draftmas carols covered.
Oh, they're so good. They're so good. I played them for Tank earlier. I explained to him how they were done. He went, you sure? Yeah, I did it. I spent way more time on that probably than I should have.
Good for you.
But that's what I'm here for. Got some bangers.
We're here for all the merriment of the Draftmas season. It all culminates in Detroit, Michigan on Thursday, round number 1. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we will be live on the ground in Detroit. I've been saying in Marcius Park, but we're not actually in Marcius Park?
No, we're in Marcius Park. We're just on the backside of the stage.
Gotcha.
Yeah, all we're in a building overlooking the square.
Gotcha. All right, well, we will be live from radio.
I missed that until they sent me the media instructions, and then I went, it's actually better this way.
Yeah,
because it's going to be colder than a boo-boo kitty in Detroit.
Yeah, I was, the way it was told to me was that we will be outside behind the stage. And then I looked and I went, oh, well, it's going to be 43 degrees at noon on Wednesday. That's not going to be fun if we have to be outside.
Yeah, we're going to get off a plane. I mean, here's the thing. You know what you get to look forward to next year? Green Bay, Wisconsin. Can we do this in a warm place? Like, bruh. I mean, I get it. We're late to the party. We missed Nashville, which, by the way, can we just do it in Nashville every year? Me, 4 days in Nashville. Let's go.
I don't know. Over the weekend, my wife looked at me yesterday and she goes, "Do you want to watch Draft Day?" And I went, "Yeah, well, yeah,
duh."
Anytime your wife asks you if you want to watch a sports movie, absolutely, let's watch it.
Does a bear poo in the woods?
Yes.
Yeah, sure does.
So we watched Draft Day. And as it came to the scenes from Radio City Music Hall in New York City, I went, oh, why couldn't it be in New York this year? I've never been to New York.
Really?
Yeah, I've never been to New York City. And so given the choice of New York City or Detroit, I'm not, just saying.
I mean, I'm looking forward to Detroit.
I am too.
I've never stepped outside of the Detroit airport. There's a people mover that I'm intrigued by. I must say you've piqued my interest. Mm-hmm. And I cannot wait to see how uncomfortable Tank Spencer is in the downtown of a metropolis.
I handled Indianapolis pretty well, but that's not
a metropolis.
That's not quite up to that level.
That's like,
I survived.
I mean, the only way I can compare that to Asheville is like saying, "Oh, of course, I know Asheville. I've been to Canton." No, that markedly different.
I survived Boston on my own for a week. I feel like, or with my wife, I feel like Detroit can't be that much bigger, if it's bigger at all. I doubt that it's a bigger city than Boston. So
it's not.
Yeah. So I mean, Boston was
now
pretty awesome.
It's bigger territory wise.
Yes.
There's A lot of ground to cover. That drive in from the airport tomorrow, she's going to be a doozy because we're staying downtown, and it's a big old city.
Oh, the Detroit airport's not close to downtown.
We're thinking we're going to get there, meet our buddy Austin Groves. I do enjoy going on location to these places and meeting people and putting a face to the name. I thoroughly enjoy that.
Yes, it's going to be a great trip up to Detroit, Michigan for the 2024 NFL Draft, which all of the run-up to flying season. Who wants you to know? Who doesn't want you to know?
This is the dumbest time. This is the dumbest time of the draft. Feel free. Any question you've heard about your team, I will tell you probably where that came from and why it's complete bupkis. And we have our first Super Chat of the day.
All right. First Super Chat of the day here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. I'm just trying to, find the button here. Here we go.
Yeah! It's from Soaring Eagle. Said new Broncos unis dropped. They were fine until I saw Broncos Country in the collar. Leave that in the failed Russell Wilson era. I saw them. I watched your whole 2-minute, 20-second hype video. If you're not changing but a little bit, maybe we can scrunch that bad boy down. I don't think I needed 2 minutes and 30 seconds of horses running like, oh, Broncos Country, let's ride for the same thing it's been. Only now it's a little more XFL.
Oh, okay.
Can we stop XFL-ing uniforms? I don't know why we need to do that, putting the little things on the sleeves and stop that.
It's the only way to make it cooler.
It's not. You know what makes it look? It looks like it should be currently being worn by the Houston Roughnecks.
Well, for as cool as the as what the snow cap, is that what they called them? The snow cap uniforms were 2 years ago.
That should be your permanent. Just do what the Jets did. Hey, everybody wants this. Let's give them that, and they'll buy it.
The snow capped uniforms were awesome. So this jersey reveal, not so great. But I agree with Jeremy. If you're just changing one stripe, then you don't get to do a whole release video.
And really, we don't need the whole cinema. I swear to God, I thought Kevin Costner was going to ride out on a horse and just go full John Dutton like, I've been watching the Broncos since 1962.
Well, the marketing department has to spend that money somewhere.
We've had many jerseys, and these will be the lamest you have ever seen. Yeah!
Let's ride. All of the rumors.
I would have killed for that to end with Let's Ride. Just a cartoon version of Russell Wilson getting bonked on the head with a sledgehammer.
All of the rumors surrounding the NFL draft. Yep, we'll talk about it right here in the Sportsocracy. And latest rumor. I mean, can we even call this a rumor? Because it started by Antonio Brown.
It's the dumbest rumor in the history of rumors. All right, I don't look. You know me. I'm a big proponent of the government staying out of the people's affairs. We took Donald Trump's Twitter. For the love of God, can we take Antonio Brown's? He has said more dumb things in the last 6 days than most people have said in their entire lives. And you know, I'm not real fond of people. So just go ahead, tell the rumor, and I'll completely debunk it in 5 seconds.
So, and apparently he has started his own little sports network here.
CTESPN. Bro, you got the first 3 letters right. You are not the last 3.
Yeah, which is always, wonderful when a guy can make fun of his own brain maladies. But apparently he's floating out there that the Los Angeles Chargers are close to a blockbuster trade with the Minnesota Vikings that would include Justin Herbert.
All right, so at Stone Sports Podcast said, I can't believe anybody's listening to that page for anything. Smart people aren't. But then this got picked up, and it turned into this thing that I saw on about 58 websites. Do you realize how much that would cost? You can kill that just on the number by itself. Mm-hmm. To take away the fact that it's completely asinine. But Jim Harbaugh wants J.J. McCarthy. No, he doesn't.
Not if the choice is Justin Herbert.
No, he doesn't. I mean, look, I get it. You got a relationship with the kid. You like the kid. To compare him to Justin Herbert would be like comparing gas station toilet paper to that Cottonelle with the aloe in it.
But this just I mean, it's just laziness, and it's just Mr. Brown looking for some more headlines, for somebody to talk about him. You said that to me when I walked in have you seen the Justin Herbert rumor? No. And as soon as I Googled it and it said Antonio Brown, I went, okay, that's all I need.
There are certain people that I hear their name and just go immediately, all right, this is going to be stupid. Let's go.
Dude just being relevant, trying to take, floating fake rumors for the NBA draft or for the NFL draft, or, trying to denigrate Caitlin Clark on her biggest night.
Oh.
Like, let's just put him on conversation probation.
Oh, he's the biggest bum in sports. At this point, now that, OJ is gone, he's the biggest bum in sports. And he's not even in sports because he hadn't played a game in forever.
Now, in maybe more or less likely to believe rumors going around the 2024 NFL draft, Malik Neighbors is now rising above Marvin Harrison Jr. as the number one wide receiver in this class.
Always be careful when you hear something for the first time the week of the draft, because it's probably crap. And that is. If you take – and look, I'm going to be honest with you here. There are people that like the talent of Neighbors better than Marvin Harrison. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
If Malik Neighbors was a Boy Scout who helped little old ladies across the street, then maybe we could talk about this. He's not. I told Tank a couple of unconfirmed rumors that I've heard about Malik Neighbors. That enough for you to go, I'll pass.
Yeah, it's a little concerning.
Yeah.
I don't believe I'll be taking him number one.
I think I'm good. Any more than 4, and I'm Seacrest out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just don't get why the push. Why the smoke screen? I mean, I get that there are maybe some draft evaluators who believe he's higher. According to reports, there are some draft evaluators that have him 1. There are some that have MHJ 1, and there are some that have Rome Odunze 1.
I would be shocked if anybody had a Odunze 1. I would not be shocked if teams had a Odunze ahead of either of the guys you just said.
Mm-hmm.
I just struggle to believe you're not going to have either one of them at 1. And look, they're really talented. Where do I think that rumor's coming from? Could be the Cardinals. Could be a slew of places, to be honest with you. Do I put any credence into it? No, I don't. I don't. I'm warning you, don't get duped by this.
And I wonder if this is just one person's opinion becoming the narrative.
Because I don't believe so. I've heard
because
this
the guy that's been that this has been tied to most is Jordan Reed at ESPN. He put out a mock draft the other day, or new rankings or something, that said all of this about Malik Neighbors, that Malik Neighbors would be his number one, and that there are scouts out there that have him number one. But does that mean there's a push, or is this just pushing a narrative to push one particular, flagship website?
Yeah, let me cut through the crap here. What were Malik Neighbors' odds to go number 4 the last time we convened on Friday?
I do not remember.
Plus 1,250. What is it right now?
I don't know.
Plus 1,800. Ain't hard to figure out. If Vegas put any credence into that number would have gone down.
Right.
Any. Instead, they swelled the number and went, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Take it. Take the candy. Don't mind the panel van with the free candy on the side.
I have kind of wondered throughout all of this process, though, whether or not the lack of good quarterback play this past year at Ohio State was going to have any effect on Marvin Harrison Jr. as a prospect, because his numbers dropped because he had such a crappy quarterback. And
that's true, but his tape didn't
quarterback
change.
Play. And so I've been wondering if this push was ever going to come, if this doubter-ism was ever going to come with him.
So I'm finishing up my draft board. We will have this on the screen during our coverage. Tank got to see the did you see my draft board earlier?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's awfully deep at certain positions. And when you have a class that's this deep, people can start seeing things. All right. If you look at safety is so thin that, yeah, Tyler Newman, he's got some deficiencies, but he's way better than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You can live with that. I have over 40 draftable receivers. If you take in undrafted free agents, I'm into the 60s.
Wow.
That will be on an NFL roster when we hit 90 come August. It's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Every one of those guys will be on a roster, period. I can start nitpicking Marvin Harrison Jr. because I've got Malik Neighbors, I've got Roma Dunze, and then on the next level, I've got Brian Thomas, Keon Coleman. I've got a ton of guys. Where I think everybody is getting duped is that you're listening to too many of these rumors and it's lying season. Where I come back to on all of this is every team seems to want to trade down. All of them. New England came out over the weekend and said, or there was a report that came out over the weekend that said New England would move down for a record-breaking, groundbreaking deal. What's groundbreaking in the NFL draft? We've watched a team literally give up every pick they had in a class to get one player. I don't think you can break a record. Why does that come out? It's very simple. Because you want somebody to know that. You want to know we're open for business at 3, and that tells me that they're not sold on the quarterback. Mm-hmm. Arizona's open for business because they know we can get a boatload of picks to move down. And so once you factor all those things in, it makes sense. It makes sense that all these guys are going to get denigrated, and you're going to hear things about them that are a little unsavory. The question is, what does that lead to? This is not the first time I've done this. After the break, I'll tell you exactly what it leads to, because the most accurate mock draft I have ever done came out of a draft just like this.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. The roof is the most important part of the home, and this month ESPN Asheville and Balkan Roofing are giving one away free of charge. Through April, go to ESPNAVL.com and click on the Balkan Roofing's Roofing for a Reason. Follow the link to nominate a homeowner in need of a new roof and why they should be our winner. At the end of the month, one iHeart Asheville winner will be selected. Make your nominations again at ESPNAVL.com. Roofing for a Reason with Balkan Roofing.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Hey, I got a question for you. You hate bending over to put on your shoes? Wish you could just put them on standing or sitting without ever having to touch them? If so, then I have the shoe for you. Introducing new hands-free Skechers Slip-ins. With new Skechers Slip-ins, you just step in and off you go. You don't even need to lace up. So how do Skechers Slip-ins work? Well, there's a special smooth comfort pillow in the heel that helps your foot slide right into place. So just step in them and go. Find new hands-free Skechers Slip-ins for the whole family at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
We're back counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine, and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from: White Haze, Peach Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
Did you know Ingles only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
We are back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. Both of them live in the Ingles studio. Low prices, love the savings. Ingles.
I am physically in the studio.
Yes.
Can't tell you that's going to be a consistent over the next coming weeks. I now have a home studio that is sweet. The lights are in it now, so when I talk, the lights change. Oh, it's so sweet.
Well, Ingles Supermarkets, once again, sending us to the 2024 NFL Draft. We will not be with you tomorrow. It's a travel day. So we will be live from Radio Row at the 2024 NFL Draft in Detroit Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week.
And we will be on Thursday. We will be doing my official mock draft, final mock draft. This is how I think it will go. This will be the one that I have submitted into the media contest, and I'm almost done. I have like 5 teams left that I keep looking at going, I don't like it.
Do you have the board set up that's got all the string from one pin to the other that you're just trying to calculate all the different ways that this could go down?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because I've seen this draft before. The beauty of now being into this year with ESPN and doing this with you is that I can go back to draft classes that kind of remind me of this class. This class reminds me of 21 a lot. Because you have a high-level quarterback prospect in Caleb Williams. I do not equate him to Trevor Lawrence. That's not what I'm saying. But he is clearly the one that you have to take at 1, almost in spite of how you might feel. Did you see the report that the Bears had DJ Moore and Cole Kmet and those guys do the dinner with Caleb Williams as opposed to themselves?
No, I had not.
First of all, that's brilliant. Second of all, that tells me they're really making sure that the personalities are going to mesh here because they have as big a reservation about Caleb Williams as I do. But do you remember how many different things came out that week? This was the draft that we were here until like 4 o'clock in the morning doing all the prep, getting ready. We had the outside studio.
Yes.
And then what wound up happening? It was all, the 49ers are taking Mac Jones at 3. No, they weren't. They were never taking Mac Jones at 3. It was Trey Lance, and it was always Trey Lance. It was always Kyle Pitts at 4 to the Atlanta Falcons. It was always Jamar Chase at 5 to the Cincinnati Bengals. It was always Jalen Waddle at 6 to the Miami Dolphins. It was always Penei Sewell at 7 to the Detroit Lions. That never changed. The only part of that really ever changed throughout the process is we were higher on Penei Sewell than the industry was.
Yep.
Because a lot of them thought he would struggle at left tackle. That's it. And that's where I'm at with this one. I am at the same point of there is no shot to me that we're going 4 quarterbacks in the top 4. And I know I've waffled on that. I get it. You hear it so many times. And then I get to this point, and I'll be really honest with you. I had this over the weekend. So we get instructions for the media contest on how you have to put in your top 100. They have to be on the website. There's very specific ways you have to do this so they can grade it. And as soon as I saw that sheet, I just went, you know what? If I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose my way. Because what I'm not going to do is have this go exactly how I think it's going to go, and I got duped by narratives on the outside. And I went 1 to 32, and I bet you it took me 8 minutes total. And I walked away and went, yeah, I think it's a solid day's work. That's if I lose with that, I'm fine with that. Because there are probably 15 picks that I feel really legitimately good about.
Right.
And if you hit more than 10 in a first round, you did something special.
What is going to be?
There was a guy in the media contest last year that hit 3 in the first round.
What is going to be the first one that spins it out of control? That's always my question. What's going to be the one pick that nobody's expecting that makes it flip on its head? And how early does it come? Does it come within the top 5?
If it does, the only one I can figure it is the Los Angeles Chargers, because they have been linked to 2 guys throughout the process that make sense for them because they need a right tackle. I just can't physically believe you would take them over Joe Alt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Talese Fuaga. That's J.C. Latham. Now, if they move down, which they would, by the way, they would kill to move down. Kill. I don't think it's there.
I don't think you have to.
Well, you don't have to. I don't
think anybody has to move up. That's where my mind is
not
going.
that far.
Right.
You don't have to move up that far. If the Chargers and look, I have it on good authority, the Chargers are not taking a wide receiver. They are dead set on taking an offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
And there is almost no way the board can fall that they don't feel that way. So that means they're either in love with Joe Alt or they're in love with one of these other guys that they know nobody's taking. I could see a path that it's Fuaga. I can't really see a path that it's J.C. Latham.
Yeah. I can't see a path that it's anybody but Joe Alt.
Well, the problem then gets into positional flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
Joe's never played on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
Rashawn Slater did, but then you've got to move him for a rookie, and that's not the greatest look. Especially with a new coaching staff, that could create an animus that
but
you don't
it also
really
depends
create.
on how they see Rashawn, right? It depends on how the new coaching staff looks at Rashawn, and maybe they go, he needs to be on the right.
It sounds to me like they believe he's the left tackle.
Okay.
Which is, I believe, and you were talking about my little conspiracy theorist corkboard, that's where that comes in. And everything led back to you keep getting leaks out of the building that you love these guys that it would make no sense for you to take at 5. That means you're adamantly trying to trade back. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota trading up to get J.J. McCarthy, they're not in love with J.J. McCarthy. Could they sit at 11 and get him? Sure. Could they trade up to 7 with the Tennessee Titans? Sure. Could they trade up to 8 with the Atlanta Falcons? Sure. By the way, if Atlanta picks at 8, I will literally eat the hat on my head.
No chance.
There's my spicy hot rumor of the day. If Atlanta picks at 8 when we're live from Detroit,
mm-hmm.
I will eat my hat.
If you had to put money on it, is that going to be Minnesota trading up to 8?
I think you will have a couple trades in the top 10, but it's not as high as you think. Because at some point you get to the same process that I did. Right, you're going through doing the final mock draft. And it's one thing to do a mock in March. We all know things change. You still put the effort into it, but it's not this is what's going to live forever as what I put out there thinking was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so you start thinking as all of these teams. And at 1, I want to take Jaden Daniels, but I can't. The Washington Jaden Daniels thing has it's taken on a weird life of its own. I don't think it has anything to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. And Rob Johnson is talking about them trading up to get a lineman. I don't think you have to. But Washington 7-round mock draft, ooh, shiskies. I walked away from that one and went, Washington fans are going to like me a lot. But I look at Washington there with Jaden Daniels. I don't see a path that you're going to bypass him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. It doesn't make any sense to me. I can't wrap my brain around it. Then I get to New England. It does make sense on you passing on a quarterback because you're in the AFC. This is a much tougher conference. You're putting a quarterback in a bad situation because it's Kendrick Bourne and Mario Douglas. I do fully understand why you would try to trade down. I do not understand why Minnesota wouldn't call your bluff and go, ha, do it. Do it. I dare you. You're not sold on Drake Maye? Cool. Don't take him.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take him.
Let him fall to me.
Let him fall.
Yep.
They believe in Sam Darnold. They also believe in Michael Penix, from what I've been told. Let him fall. I'm not giving you 3 first-round picks and mortgaging my future just to call your bluff. Arizona, same thing. What are you going to do? You're going to take a receiver just exactly as you should.
Yes.
And you just keep getting to this point until you get to Tennessee. If there's no Joe Alt on the board, that's the team that would trade out. Because they're locked in. This is, by the way, when we talk about free agent signings and all these things, this is the very reason that you do not go into the draft with a hole this big. Mm-hmm. Because you will get absolutely hijacked. Tennessee is going to take a tackle in wherever they pick in the first round. I don't see any way away from it.
Yeah.
So you get to 7. Olafashanu is not loved around the industry. They need a left tackle. That's the only other one left. I can't go Talisi Fuaga. I can't really go J.C. Latham because I'm projecting something that I've never seen. And so that's where Minnesota goes, hey, we know you don't want to take him in the top 10. So how about we, instead of 3 first-round picks, we'll give you these 2. You give us a third-round pick. We'll call it good.
Mm-hmm.
You drop back 4 spots. You save yourself a little bit. You get an extra day 2 pick.
But why
we get an extra day 2 pick. You get an extra first-rounder.
But if Minnesota doesn't do it, is there a fear that Denver will?
No.
That Las Vegas will?
No.
Then why would Minnesota do it? Because there's nobody else.
Because the closer you get, the more likely it becomes.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta will bail out for anything that is offered to them. The problem is there's so much animus in the top 7 that teams don't know what's going to be sitting there. Atlanta would make a deal on the clock, and I have it on real good authority. You can deduce who that team would probably be based on who's saying it.
Mm-hmm.
That there's an offer on the table. If player X is on the board, we will give you this to move up to 8.
Yep.
You can drop back. You'll either get Jared Verse, Quinion Mitchell, or Dallas Turner, and you're hunky-dunky.
Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the quarterbacks, Minnesota's been the team that has been the star here. They're the ones that went and got the extra first-round pick. They're the ones that got the ammo to do the move. But I don't know that they have to do the move. If there's not,
you will not sit at 11 and get J.J. McCarthy. Just mark my words. You will not sit at 11 and get him.
Okay.
Because there are too many teams. Chicago killed to get out of 9.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago killed to get out of 9. Atlanta killed to get out of 8. And the Jets are sitting at 10 going, well, we have a whole 2 guys that we really want. So if they're not here, we'll run like this building's on fire.
Right. So then it does become a concern that Denver can get in front of you, that the Raiders can get in front of you.
Because things could fall that way.
Right.
So if you're Minnesota, why not just get out in front of it? If it's only going to cost you the picks that you moved around to get now, okay. But I got to give up a 1 next year, I'm out.
Yeah, that's not happening. Not to move up a few spots where maybe somebody could trade up in front of me.
And the more you think like the team, the easier it is to figure that out. We have our second super chat of the day. It's from our buddy Generations, whose sweet New York Jet Green Jordans will be fully on display on this feller.
Excellent.
On Thursday.
Yes.
So, Generations, if you'll send me that sweet little logo of yours, we'll throw that on the screen when we see Jeremy's lovely attire.
That mine don't match my suit, so I'm not wearing them with my suit.
Wear them all night too.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, because I'll go ahead and tell you
they're already in the suitcase. I'm ready to go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
He asked, "Am I tripping, or is Quinion Mitchell minus 145 to be the first cornerback selected not a free donation?" I feel like it is. The only risk that I think you would come into there is if there is a team that's dead in love with Terry and Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
Who is that team? I don't know. I don't physically know them as of right now. I have heard if Minnesota got stuck at 11, then Terry and Arnold would be somebody that they would consider. I don't know why they don't like Quinion Mitchell as much, but they don't. I think Mitchell's drop dead is 13 probably to the Raiders.
No. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Jeremy, that we're not great big hockey guys. However, it has begun. The chase to the Stanley Cup has begun, and if you're looking to light up the lamp, nothing beats the action on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. And this week, all North Carolina customers can place a pregame moneyline bet on the Carolina Hurricanes, and if they lead by at least 2 goals at any time during the game, you win, even if they end up losing the game. Now, game 1, they already won that by 2 goals. So 3-1 over the Islanders. We'll see. Again, a 2-goal lead at any point will pay you out with that wager. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code WPEK. New customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's code WPEK only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. One early win per opted-in customer. Max bet limits apply. Token expires at the start of the game. You see dkng.co/ice for wagering eligibility and terms.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
All right, so far so good. We're going to roll the beautiful weather into the afternoon. Hopefully you grabbed a jacket. A little chilly today, but that sun will feel pretty nice. That strong April sun angle. Near or just above 60. A cold night tonight, low to mid-30s with scattered frost. Tuesday, sunshine, low 70s. Could be a few showers around Wednesday. Otherwise, sun and clouds, upper 60s. Thursday, sunny, near 70. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stagik.
This report is sponsored by KFC. Introducing KFC's $10 Tuesday. Get 8 hot and juicy drums and thighs for just $10. Taste it for yourself every Tuesday, only at KFC. It's finger licking good. Prices and participation vary. Tax, tips, and fees extra.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. Y'all gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
When we think about our health, we usually think about exercising and eating healthier, but don't forget that part of your overall health is your dental health. And y'all, if it's been 6 months or longer since your last visit, you need to get in to see the dentist. And Asheville Smiles Cosmetic and Family Dentistry, they offer general family dentistry as well as Invisalign orthodontics, Botox, fillers, sleep apnea screenings, and more. Dr. Merrill and the staff at Asheville Smiles, they're taking new patients, so get your smile back on track. World-class dental care with a hometown feel, AshevilleSmiles.com.
It's bow time. The only thing you want after a made-from-scratch Bojangles biscuit with juicy country ham is another one. For a limited time, get 2 ham biscuits for $5. That's 2 fluffy country ham biscuits. Cravings meet savings. Order in the app or at Bojangles. It's bow time.
At Ingles, we're proud to work with hundreds of local farms and businesses in the communities we call home. Not only does it ensure that you get top-quality, fresh items for your family table, it's a way for us to support the amazing individuals who pour their heart and soul into delivering the very best they can do. Quality, freshness, community, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
I do miss the people being able to hear the during break chatter during the breaks.
Yes.
Zoinks like hey Scoob.
You never know what kind of voices are going to come out here in the Sportsocracy. Yeah. It is.
I'm looking forward to the first time we do a remote after the draft is over, and it's just 3 minutes of us bouncing back and forth as Bernie Sanders and Bill Clinton.
Jeremy, did we get a final today from the golf tournament?
Yeah.
Old
Scotty Scheffler won at 4:00 this morning or whatever time it was.
Old Scotty Scheffler. having to finish up the light shortened tournament. It got too dark yesterday, so they couldn't finish yesterday. But all right, so Scotty Scheffler wins again on the PGA Tour. There was a big winner this weekend on the Korn Ferry Tour, though. 15-year-old Miles Russell. He finished in the top 20 at the Korn Ferry Tour event this weekend at Lakewood National Golf Club. And he earns another start on the Korn Ferry Tour by finishing in the top 20. He becomes the first ever that is 15 years old to do so, either on the Korn Ferry Tour or on the PGA Tour. And, of course, they point out in the story here that he was this year's American Junior Golf Association Player of the Year at 15 years old.
Yeah, he's real good at golf.
Would you like to know the only other person who has won at 15 years old? The AJGA's Player of the Year.
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
When it's golf, if it's a trivia question and you ask it to me, I'm just going to assume it's Tiger Woods.
Can we stop this? Again, congratulations to the kid for being the first
it's
since
a great
Tiger.
Story.
But this is the only thing that people are going to remember. Like when this kid starts hitting headlines, they're going to go, "Oh, he was the first since Tiger." We don't need to put that kind of label on this kid already. Jeez.
No, the thing I'll remember is that this kid is a way better golfer than me, and I just want to yell at him and tell him to put his cell phone down because he looks like he's about 9 years old.
He does.
I'm officially at that age where anybody younger than me just looks 12.
Although, I mean, he's 15 years old, which means he's only 2 years older than my children.
He's a year younger than my oldest one.
So, yeah. There's a reason that he looks like a youngin', because he's old enough to be our youngin'.
Oh, that makes me feel 1,000. My story is about an old man, not a young man. It's about Yankee, former now broadcaster, John Sterling.
Oh, thank God we don't have
36 years. 36 years of commitment as the radio voice of the New York Yankees, and they sent him away on Saturday. Now, here's my question. Why did he start the season? Like, if you knew you were going to do this, and this didn't just come out of nowhere. I don't believe that. I don't believe that in any way.
Why?
Just 4 games in. Nope. Mm-hmm. You had an idea. You had an inkling. He's also 843,000 years old. But that's not the point of the story. They have a huge send-off. There were video messages from Derek Jeter, Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill. They had players and all kinds of things on the field to send off John Sterling. But that's not why I'm telling this story. What would be the cringiest gift you could possibly give your 36-year radio announcer?
A new TV.
That's exactly what they gave him.
A brand new television set.
They gave him an 83-inch LG television that they had 2 players carry out of the dugout.
Nice.
It is top 5 most, please stop that, moments I have ever seen. Just please put that down.
It's kind of fun.
We don't need to see you present, but this is not Christmas and we're not a car dealership. Okay, that's when that's acceptable. You were a great salesperson. Here's a new TV. This was your radio broadcaster for 36 years. Get the man a plaque. If you want to give him a TV, that's fine. Don't bring it out on the field.
Or, hey, Yankees, you know what would have been better to get John Sterling? A brand new car. I mean, why are we giving him a TV? This guy could have, how many TVs could he afford? Why didn't you get him like a special Yankees edition Lexus or something? I don't know. This just seems very lazy. Like, what do we got in the prize closet back there? We got an 83-inch TV. We were supposed to give it away at Thanksgiving last year, but nobody cares about baseball during Thanksgiving.
Bingo. That's exactly what it was. Hey, we bought this TV. What should we do with it? Let's give it to Sterling. I'll guarantee you his first question was, can I get Matlock on it? What time does the Matlock come on? That was just because he's a baseball guy, not because he's 1,000.
85 years old, I feel pretty certain he's watched some Matlock.
Columbo, that was the last real star. Peter Falk.
Yes. John Sterling done after, what did you say, 38 years?
36 years.
36 years.
They also gave him a jersey with however many games he had done on it. It's 5,000 and something.
Wow.
You could have just stopped with the jersey, and I think we'd have been fine. I really do.
Or how about a nice little severance check?
56-31. That was. Oh, I'm sure he got a nice severance. You know what? Blow up the check. That would be less cringy than we got you an LG TV.
Yes.
I worked all these years.
I was going to say, why did you say that like you were?
I don't know. I went full Jesse Ventura.
Listen here, Mean Gene.
I worked 36 years for the New York Yankees, and all they gave me was a stupid TV.
An 83-inch LG TV.
I don't even know how to turn it on. My children put it on the wall. It scares me. I'm pretty sure it's listening to me in my thoughts.
Your Jesse Ventura immediately went into Gary Busey there for a second.
Buttered sausage. What's it to get it off my plate? Yeah, and
So
before
good.
anybody asks, yes, we are delusionally tired.
Yes.
The longest amount of sleep that I will have gotten in the last 3 days is going to come on an airplane tomorrow.
All right, let's get into some more top fives here. Last 40 years, top 5 draft picks for each and every one of the NFL teams. We've been rolling through these, and I've been promising the Baltimore Ravens, and I think we should just go ahead and do it. Stephen Tao, he'll catch it on the replay here. Baltimore Ravens, number 1 draft pick, basically in their history.
Ray Lewis.
No, I did not go Ray Lewis. He's number 2. Number 1 was Ogden. Your first draft pick.
Are you on drugs?
What are you talking about?
Jonathan Ogden went in the top, was he 6?
He's 4.
Ray Lewis went in the 20s.
Yeah, 26.
He's arguably the best linebacker that ever lived.
Mm-hmm.
Your value's got to come in at some point. Ray Lewis is 1. You want to put Ogden at 2? I would argue with you. And look, I love Jonathan Ogden. Love him.
Yeah.
You're missing one.
Okay.
Ed Reed.
No, he's 3.
You got the right 3. You got the right 3 in the top 3. Mm-hmm. I'm just aghast that you did not have Ray Lewis at 1.
No, I did not. He was number 2. Ed Reed, number 3. Number 4, Terrell Suggs. He was the number 10 pick, 2003. Number 5, I went Lamar Jackson. 32nd pick in 2018.
That feels wrong, but it's not. I don't know why that feels wrong, but it does.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't feel wrong. I mean, unless he hasn't won anything yet.
No, I wasn't going on that path.
Are you throwing Joe Flacco at 5?
No, I couldn't. And I guess now that the more I'm thinking about it, I was just thinking Haloti Ngata. He deserved
close.
to be at least discussed.
He is close. Honorable mentions: Mark Andrews, who was the 86th overall pick.
God, I still remember when that pick came down, and I bet I said 50 obscenities in 10 seconds.
Haloti Ngata at 7. Then I went Joe Flacco at 8. And he didn't win you a Super Bowl. And Jamal Lewis, Matthew Judon, Zadarius Smith.
They had a billion. I mean, good Lord.
I mean, these are all and Matthew Judon. I mean, hell, if value was factoring for anything, he was taken at 146.
I mean, and you didn't even mention Todd Heap. You didn't mention Chris McAllister.
Nope.
Dwayne Starks, who might be the greatest underrated, most forgotten Raven of all time, which is sad.
Mm-hmm.
Their biggest bust, that's not hard to figure out. Kyle Bowler, 1, 2, and 4. This is just not a franchise that's done that a lot.
Right.
I mean, you look at the guys they've taken in the first round. There's not a lot that didn't hit. I mean, Bowler is without a doubt 1. Mark Clayton would be pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that he would be 2. He might have to be, though. Because all the rest of them were in the second round. Matt Elam, oh, that was a bad one. Oh. Other than that, Brashad Perriman.
Yep.
But even Perriman's still in the league 10 years later.
Red Sea says Justin Tucker needs to be mentioned here as one of the best picks that they've ever had.
I would agree with him there.
Yeah, and I mean, they took him in the top 100.
I don't think they drafted Tucker, though.
Yeah, I believe they did.
I don't think they did. I could be wrong on that.
Well,
I swear I thought Tucker was an undrafted free agent.
I don't believe he was. I think they took him pretty high in the draft. Well, maybe not. Undrafted free agent. There you go. 2012.
I was about to say, when in doubt, trust my instincts. I don't know much in this life, the NFL draft.
Well, look
Pretty
at
on
you.
the list.
Look at you. Good for you.
Because if I'm not mistaken, I think that was and this part I might be wrong on. What year did you say? 2012?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the year with the most kickers drafted in the last 25 years or something stupid like that. And he was not one of them.
All right. Baltimore Ravens. Any more suggestions, mentions? Nope.
I just feel like Kyle Bowler is that's the one. Yes, there were 4 kickers drafted in 2012, which is the most since 1993. I will give you $1 if you can name me a kicker that went in that draft. 2 of them are still active.
In 2012?
Yes.
Mike Nugent.
No, you're way too late.
Dang it.
Mike Nugent was 2005. I'll never forget that as long as I live. We traded down from 29, somewhere in there, for Doug Jolly with the Raiders.
Harrison
God,
Butker.
and he was a bum. No, the answers are Randy Bullock, Legatron Greg Zuerlein, the legend of Blair Walsh, and John Potter. John Potter, who sounds like a guy that's 60 years old and played in a real sweet band in 1978.
Yes.
Still got the long hair, wears sunglasses at dinner. Maybe has more tattoos than you would think of a man that age.
Top 5 greatest draft picks of the last 40 years. Let's do my team here before the break. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 1 draft pick of the last 40 years. It's Derek Brooks. Number 28 overall, 1995 draft.
Florida State Seminole. You get no pushback from me there?
Yep. Number 2, not a Florida State Seminole. Warren Sapp, Miami Hurricane.
Oh, I still can't hear that without just being so sad.
Number 12 in the 1995 draft. Just a few picks after the Jets took Kyle Brady. Number 3, best draft pick of the 40 years for Tampa Bay, Mike Evans. Number 7 overall in 2014. I struggled with that one, considering how high I needed to have him on this list, but he is going to go down as one of the greatest Bucks ever, and he'll be a Hall of Famer at some point. So he'll be in that
You've
list.
hit all the right ones so far.
At number 4, John Lynch. He was the 82nd.
You had Mike Evans over him?
Mm-hmm. He was the 82nd overall pick in 1993. And number 5.
Chris Sims. Let's go.
No. Levante David. Number 58, 2012. There's one name that I left off
Vita
that I
Vea.
know that my dad's going to be really upset.
You left off Vita Vea. You left off Aqib Talib.
He's Aqib Talib.
Aqib Talib was a top 5 corner in the league for 12 years, 10 years.
Yeah, no, he didn't even make my list.
I'm not necessarily saying he should have made the list. He should have at least been mentioned.
On the outside looking in.
Mike Allstott.
Rondé. Rondé Barber at number 66. It was so close to me, personally, but Levante is going to be a Hall of Famer as well, so I got no qualms there. Then Mike Allstott, 35th overall in 1996. And I threw Gerald McCoy, Vita Vea, Tony Mayberry. Just, it gets real thin.
Tristan Wirfs, I think, at least deserves to be acknowledged.
Tristan Wirfs is one, yes. Go ahead with the biggest bust pick of the last 40 years.
The 2000s. Actually, the 2010s. You were, for 7 years, outside of Mike Evans, you were the worst drafting team in the NFL. You got Gerald McCoy in 2010.
Yep.
Then you went Adrian Claiborne, who was actually not terrible. He just wasn't particularly good for you.
He wasn't good for us. He wasn't good till we shipped him to Atlanta.
Yeah, and then he went there and he was fine.
Yeah, he had like 12 sacks his first year.
Mark Barron.
Ugh.
Jonathan Banks. He was a second rounder, but still merited mentioning. You got Mike Evans in 2014. Then you went Jameis Winston, Vernon Hargraves, O.J. Howard. That team, that drafting team found a way to win a Super Bowl in that decade.
Yes.
Stop.
It only took the greatest quarterback of all time to make it happen, though. You left out the number one bust of the last 40 years.
Roberto Aguayo.
No. That's Bo Jackson. The 1986 draft, you took him number one overall, despite the fact that he told you not to.
And that's why I couldn't put him that high. He told you not to do that.
Mm-hmm, and you did.
That's just how absolutely clueless that franchise was.
Yes.
He told you exactly what he was going to do. Nothing.
You cost him his senior year. You cost him his senior year of baseball at Auburn. Screw you. No chance. I'll go play baseball. You still did it anyway.
I mean, look, you had a ton of guys that would potentially belong on this list. I'm also a little shocked that you didn't at any point say Warwick Dunn.
He just...
Maybe I'm thinking your honorable mentions should be way deeper than they are.
Yeah, I mean, well, once I got to 10, I went, okay, I mean, I like all these dudes, but how many of these am I actually going to do?
Trent Dilfer also belongs on that list of...
But he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. So did a lot of dudes.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
Summit Dental is accepting new patients. At Summit, they submit insurance on your behalf and provide you with estimates, so you have everything you need to make an informed treatment decision. They also work with Care Credit, and they're happy to help you apply. Care Credit helps you pay for out-of-pocket health care expenses. See why Summit Dental has so many 5-star reviews on Google. Book today at AshevilleSummitDental.com. In-house savings programs are also available. Book online at AshevilleSummitDental.com.
The future of medicine is here at QC Kinetics. QC is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management we've seen in decades. Regenerative medicine. If you are tired of achy joints, if your joint pain is keeping you from doing what you love, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Surgery, steroids, drugs, these are no longer your best options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results. We're talking natural biologics using your body's own power to repair and restore damaged tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup. Dr. Scheinkup is a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing. He wants to get you relief with a needle, not a knife. Call QC Kinetics now to learn more about some exciting options. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. Phone 828-333-9517 in Asheville and in Greenville.
To tell you that Keno picks 20 winning numbers, we wrote a winning number of our own. Hit it, boys. You pick up to 10. Keno picks 20. It's easy to play for a whole lot of money. Winning numbers are everywhere with Keno from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win a prize range from 1 in 3.86 to 16.63. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey, if you're listening to me right now, I have one thing every business needs most: attention. Think about it. We swipe and scroll past stuff all day. But when we're driving, cooking, and working out, we're also listening. That's the magic of audio at iHeart. We're in your next customer's ears while they're living life and listening, just like you are right now. So get your customers to listen up today using radio, digital, and podcasts. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
To tell you that Keno picks 20 winning numbers, we wrote a winning number of our own. Hit it, boys. You pick up to 10. Keno picks 20. It's easy to play for a whole lot of money. Winning numbers are everywhere with Keno from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win a prize range from 1 in 3.86 to 16.63. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
All right, so far so good. And we're going to roll the beautiful weather into the afternoon. Hopefully you grabbed a jacket. A little chilly today, but that sun will feel pretty nice. That strong April sun angle. Near just above 60. A cold night tonight, low to mid-30s with scattered frost. Tuesday, sunshine, low 70s. Could be a few showers around Wednesday. Otherwise, sun and clouds, upper 60s. Thursday, sunny, near 70. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stagik.
This report is sponsored by KFC. Introducing KFC's $10 Tuesday. Get 8 hot and juicy drums and thighs for just $10. Taste it for yourself every Tuesday, only at KFC. It's finger licking good. Prices and participation vary. Tax, tips, and fees extra.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. WIN. That's WIN. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingles studio.
We are back at the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. We're seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link. Subscribe to the YouTube channel once you're through to the YouTube page. And that way you can join us in the chat.
This is a great time to be subscribed because we're going to be doing some live stuff that's not within the radio show. We might even show you the sweet little loft that we're going to be staying in. We hope. You never know.
Yeah, I don't like the way that sounded.
Well, I mean, they have 5,000 reviews, so it's a group.
Let's hope that it's all on the up and up with the accommodations. As this time tomorrow, Jeremy, we'll be sitting in an airport waiting to go to Detroit, Michigan for the 2024 NFL Draft.
I hope we're not waiting this early. This is early.
Well, you said noon. If we leave at noon, we'll be there by 1.
Yeah, I figured we'd get about to eat.
I see.
I have 2 speeds in an airport. Mm-hmm. I either want all the grab-ass time or none of it. That's the only 2 speeds.
Okay.
I will either get there way too early and end up just plastered in the airport bar, or you're going to see me running on the mobile sidewalk, just Deion Sanders high-stepping it.
Just gone trying to catch that flight. We will not be that.
I did that one time in the Atlanta airport, and I think somebody caught me on tape because I am pretty sure I have seen myself in a TikTok. Looked like a suit, and it looked very similar. It looked like a suit I was in that day and was a big old dude just eating it.
Yep. Just doing your best 40 time from the NFL Combine. So combine trip was a whole lot of fun. NFL draft going to be a whole nother experience. Somebody already threw into the chat that it's confirmed that Eminem is going to be making an appearance.
I'm going to literally recite every song. I mean, because I'm sure he can't wait for somebody like me to come up to him and tell him that many of his albums got me through many hard times in my life.
Now, he'll appreciate hearing that. He's not going to appreciate it if you just walk up to him and start screaming Rap God in his face.
Cinderella Man.
Oh, yeah, you do love that song.
I do love that song.
Yeah. Godzilla, that was another one of your favorites, wasn't it?
There's
so
literally
many
more than
so
I
many
can count.
favorites. Of course, it's Detroit, and of course, Eminem is going to be making an appearance.
The fact you haven't seen the ESPN commercial for this draft
I have
yet,
not.
It makes me so sad. It's Roger Goodell and Eminem. And they were talking about the draft's coming to Detroit, and they're so happy. And Roger Goodell goes, live from the D. And Eminem goes, the what?
The what?
Like, you could just call it Detroit. And Roger Goodell, Detroit.
Live from the D.
And
he's trying to be cool.
And at the end, he just really confidently goes, the D. It's the greatest commercial I think I've ever seen.
All right, well, I'll have to check that
HWA
out
sent it to
later.
me, and I literally laughed until I thought I was going to piddle on myself.
Flostradamus has been putting together all of the big boards, the top 13s. He's got a 7-round mock draft that's going to be released at some point soon.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
His final mock draft will be coming up on the Thursday edition of the show as we are live from Radio Row in Detroit.
That's the one going in the media contest. That is the official. That is the no changing it. It's got to be in on Wednesday. So if somebody gets traded, whoops, a boo-booed. But before we get into the list of prospect rankings,
yes,
we have another super chat.
Okay,
and it's our buddy the Ocho, Armchair Commentary, taking a stab at me. Sometimes a team named the Jets have scored 7 in a playoff game the past 13 years. Winnipeg 2, New York Jets nothing.
Whoa, that's brutal.
I don't feel like that was. I mean, did we have to do that? That felt like
No.
That felt unnecessarily harsh.
Was a little mean on your part. All right, Jeremy. Let's get into the top 13 linebackers in this 2024 class. Number 1 linebacker on the board is
Peyton Wilson.
Peyton Wilson.
He will not be the first one selected. You mark my words.
What happened to the hype on him?
Medical. That's what it's got to be. I mean, look, the kid had so much hype coming out of the combine, and then it just dwindled. And look, he's freakishly athletic. I just think I think you have to be realistic about what you're going to get out of him, which is he's probably going to be, I would say his 30s are not going to be very nice to him. Had a slew of injury issues, but you're going to get a really good player, I think, for 5 to 8 years. You take that in the second round, and you're
win.
I'm fine with that.
Yes, that's a win.
The only red flags he has for me is medical. Everything else is a positive.
Mm-hmm. So much hype about him, just being the athletic freak that he was at the combine. Just went in there, and he didn't smash records, but I feel like he got close to like an RAS record with all of the numbers that he put up in the different events. And you're right, there was a lot of Peyton Wilson's going to be the number 1 linebacker out of this class. Here's the thing, though. I haven't heard anything about any other linebacker, so it's not as if there's a linebacker that's being pushed up the board over Peyton Wilson. It's just kind of gone silent for me on all linebackers.
Yeah, then you're not listening.
Okay.
Because there is one. And
right.
I'm not going to tell you that there's a possibility he goes in the first round. I mean, there is.
Mm-hmm.
It's very remote, but he will go ahead of Peyton Wilson. It's Edgerrin Cooper out of Texas A&M. And I told you this was possible because he is the exact opposite of Peyton Wilson. He has no medical red flags whatsoever. The tape is really good, but lacking just a little bit. He's not a ready-made product, but he is a guy that 5 years down the line, we could be talking about the same way you were talking about with Levante David.
Okay.
Of how did he get this far?
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of personality red flags with him. He didn't do himself any favors at he was at the Hula Bowl, I think. And he said some things that rubbed people the wrong way. He never backed down from it, but then teams wanted to see him in the building, and they wanted to ask him about it, and they wanted to get a feel for him. And everything I have heard is that the teams that have had him in the building have been pleasantly surprised by what was sitting in front of them. That tells me he's going to be the highest one drafted, whether he should be or not.
Okay.
I think Peyton Wilson has better tape. Edgerrin Cooper's probably a better prospect, but Peyton Wilson didn't have any of these red flags that there's two things I can't verify: personality and medical.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get medical records, so I just kind of have to guess. And I do feel like that's what's pushing Wilson down, and it's got Cooper clearly ahead of him at this point.
All right, Edgerrin Cooper out of Texas A&M, the number 2 linebacker on the board for Flostradamus. Who's number 3?
And Cooper is an athletic freak. It just so happened that he came into the draft in a year that, well, you had one of the freakiest linebackers we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
My number 3 is Jeremiah Trotter, Jr., out of Clemson. I think in terms of if you're looking for a coverage linebacker, a guy that you can put in the middle of your defense that is going to be able to handle tight ends as long as they're not insanely large, this could be the guy. There are some knocks on him. He is really little. He weighed in at the combine at 228 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
For point of reference, he's 6 foot tall. How much do you weigh right now?
235 pounds.
235 pounds, and you're 5'7". So, I mean, Jeremiah Trotter is smaller than you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, pounds per square inch, he's got you by
just a hair,
but not by much.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some risks with him that tight ends are really going to mess with him. He's basically a slot corner. That's how I look at him. He's kind of a wish version of Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is the same problem we had with JOK. Is he going to hold up in the run? And JOK was way better on tape than Trotter was.
Yeah.
So,
is he more JOK or is he more Isaiah Simmons?
Isaiah Simmons was a physical freak of nature that had no position whatsoever. There is an Isaiah Simmons in this class. It's not Jeremiah Trotter.
Okay.
That's where I would get more into like Jalix Hunt of, you're so just freaky physically that it kind of takes away, but he had the tape that really showed it. Simmons, we had no idea what position he played. I know exactly what position Jeremiah Trotter is going to play. I just don't know that he's ever anything more than a second and third down sub linebacker. The reason that I have him over the next player on this list, and there is a drop-off after 4, is just because I know he's going to be great at one thing. The next guy, I don't know he will ever be great at anything other than getting you on the ground.
Okay. And at number 4?
Junior Colson. In terms of an ability to get you on the ground, he is phenomenal. He kind of falls into that jack of all trades, master of none. And I'm not sure he's athletic enough to get better at a lot of these things. I mean, look, I do believe I've got a 3rd round grade on Junior Colson. I think he will go in the 2nd round because linebacker gets gnarly in a hurry. I'm just not sure that he's ever going to be a great linebacker. I get into these 2nd, 3rd round guys, and I'm looking for the Fred Warner, who has the tools to do all of these things. And I don't see it with him. And his eyes let him down from time to time. I don't think he's as good as everybody else is. I've seen people have him at 1. Ahead of Peyton Wilson, ahead of Edgerrin Cooper. Ahead of Trotter, I get. I understand how you got there. I do not understand how you got to the ahead of the other two.
No.
He doesn't have the raw tools. I mean, you can have all of the heart and the determination and the work ethic. If you're this limited athletically, and I think in certain regards he is. I mean, he ran a decently fast 40 time. Whoop-de-doo. Change of direction, he's below average. It's the reason he didn't run any of those the three cones or anything like that because the time was not going to be good.
Right. All right, Junior Colson, 6'2", 238, linebacker out of Michigan at 4, number 5.
This one got really close because there's a guy that we'll talk about after the break that has surged through the process. I just still feel like this guy's undervalued, and it's Cedric Gray.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, you're the Carolina guy, so if you want to throw your love on him, feel free.
Well, Cedric is he's just another one of those that has a nose for the ball, finds himself in the right position at the right times. Not all the time. There have been problems since at Carolina of that he was out of place at times. You talk about, you see people talk about that all the time of, sometimes he blew an assignment or didn't know where he was going. I chalk a lot of that up to the bad coaching that we had at Carolina on the defensive side of the ball for the last 3 years. I don't know how much that is necessarily Cedric's fault, some of those plays. But he is absolute high motor guy.
And he's freakishly athletic.
Yes.
If I could combine Junior Colson and Cedric Gray into the same player, I'd have Fred Warner. The only problem is that I feel like you split them in half, and now I have half of that guy in two people. I can't get any of the subsidiary guys because everybody from here on out has a detraction. There's a you can only do this, and I don't think it's ever going to get any better outside of a couple that are stupidly raw.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, ESPN at ESPN Draft Nerd Jeremy Greene's top 13 linebackers of the 2024 class will continue after this.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Do you have unfiled tax returns or being threatened by the IRS that your wages are about to be garnished or bank accounts are going to be levied? You need an ally. Allies Tax Relief has professionals ready to fight for you. Their enrolled agents, tax attorneys, and CPAs have saved millions of dollars for taxpayers just like you. They won't just resolve your tax problems, they'll most importantly protect your wages, bank accounts, and all your assets from being taken by the IRS. Call for a free consultation. 800-230-5174. 800-230-5174 or go to alliestaxrelief.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It is ESPN Asheville, our final live show before we make the big trek to Detroit, Michigan for the 2024 NFL Draft live coverage from Radio Row, coming your way Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week.
I should also point out that I will be live on Saturday at the Village Porch for day 3, breaking out a new partnership with some friends that you may know.
Nice. Day 3 coverage will come to you on the YouTubes exclusively. I may make an appearance after the wedding. I don't know what kind of shape I might be in after the wedding, so I'm not going to commit to that, but if I'm able.
There is nothing I think I want more than Drunk Tank after a 5-day, what is going to be whirlwind of activity, coming in after 4 IPAs from Mark Starling's wedding like Otis from the Andy Griffith Show.
Somehow I made it all the way from Barnardsville, and I think I messed my suit.
Somebody pooped in my pants.
Could very well happen. You never know
Call
what's
the
going to...
police! Someone has defecated in my trousers.
Oh, it's going to be a fun few days here. No show tomorrow, by the way. We'll have
but have no
ESPN
fear.
for the travel day.
You will still have just plenty of content coming out across the YouTube channels. Our objective is to do the 7-round mock drafts for the AFC tomorrow, half split into Wednesday, then do do half the NFC and the rest of it on Thursday. I think that made sense in my head, but it sounded clunky when I said it.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that made some form of sense.
Yes, it did.
And those will be just me by myself in my sweet little new studio at my house that blinks the lights when I talk.
At ESPN Draft Nerd, Jeremy Greene's top 13 linebackers for the 2024 NFL Draft. We're up to number 6.
I'm breaking a rule here because I don't do this. I don't get pre-draft hype guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I will be honest with you. I didn't have the depth of information on this kid, so I had to go looking for it. It's Jordan McGee out of Temple.
Yes.
He is. All right. So what is it? What attracted you to him?
What attracted me to him was when I saw him at the Combine. He was one of the first guys that we saw up on the podium, and it was just this infectious kind of an attitude with him. Like, he had the smile of a kid who loves football.
Yes.
And I can see where the hype gets high on a guy like this. The tape looks really good. Played at Temple. He is a heck of a run defender at the second level.
He is really good against the run.
He can diagnose plays. I watched some tape on him after I saw him because I went, you know what, that kid, he may not end up ever being a star in this league, but
he's going to be a player for somebody.
Yes, and he will be a community superstar. He will be one of those guys that trots out there. I spent 10 years with the Buffalo Bills. You may have never heard my name, but they're going to name a foundation after me, kind of a guy.
I'm not. I don't go down that path.
I know you don't.
The problem with him is that his body lets him down because he is super small. His hand size is in the bottom 13th percentile. His hands are in the bottom 10.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the bottom 40% of literally every metric. So he's freakishly athletic. I'm afraid he's going to get washed out a little bit defensively.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure he's not going to improve. I'm really not sure he's going to. I think he is a raw little ball of energy. And what you said about I was not at his media availability at the Combine. You went to that one of your own volition. And then you came back telling me about this kid.
Yeah.
So I just started putting out feelers. And it seemed like I didn't hear his name until the Combine. Since the Combine, I bet I've heard it 100 times. Because we all did the same thing. He was a fringe 5th, 6th, 7th round guy, depending on which team you're talking about. And then we dug in. And when we dug in, we saw, this kid can defend the run. This kid's got some athleticism. The NFL's getting smaller. My only problem is that there is a possibility that he's going to see somebody like Joe Alt and get literally decapitated. That is my fear. But, man, there's a lot to like with the kid.
Yes. A lot to like. Number 7.
I'm going to wager you could tell me the name that's coming because you probably have heard his name 500 times since I saw him at the Senior Bowl.
Ooh, if I had to guess. Oh, I know who you're talking about. This kid from Notre Dame.
Yep.
Marist Lafau.
He's another one that has the raw ability, and he can really cover. The problem is he is entirely too aggressive, and he overruns things. His eyes will deceive him from time to time. If you put him in the right system, Houston – let me say it again. Houston, with D'Amico Ryans, he could be a star. And there are not a lot of these guys I feel like can be stars. There are a lot that I feel like can be usable pieces. The two I just said, Jordan McGee and Maris Lafau, are the two that I really feel like have an upside. They have a scary floor, too.
Mm-hmm.
But they do have an upside.
All right, let's go to number 8.
This is where upside kind of goes away. Tommy Eichenberg. He is James Skalski in a body that can actually play in the NFL.
Ooh, I like that.
He's just the hard-nosed. He's going to come down in the box against the run. He's going to hurt your feelings. You're going to have to hide him in coverage because I don't think he's ever going to be even good at it. He was serviceable at Ohio State, but he had a lot of talent around him. Guys that look like Tommy Eichenberg did on tape tend to get completely unveiled at the next level when you put them in coverage. And I would say that's my biggest fear with him. But I also don't see a way he busts out completely. And I really can't differentiate him from the next guy I'm getting ready to say.
All right, and at number 9.
J.D. Bertrand out of Notre Dame. This kid will bring his lunch pail to work every single day, and he will crack your skull if you don't pick him up. But he is limited. And when I say limited, I mean super limited athletically. But you watch the tape and he just jumps off. The Ohio State tape, I swear to you, they said his name 20 times. When I watched that game live, I could not stop watching J.D. Bertrand. And he's going to go lower than he should. I really feel like he fits your Tampa 2, just you kind of protect him in coverage scheme. But then when you let him come downhill against the run, he will ruin your life. I love the tape on him. He's limited athletically, which scares me a little bit.
Yep. And then at number 10.
Anybody whose nickname's Boogie is probably going to get a little love from me. Nathaniel Boogie Watson. You talk about somebody that will hurt you, just absolutely wreck you in the hole, is Nathaniel Watson. I just don't know that he's ever going to be good at anything else. He has a safe floor as being your no doubt special teams ace. I just think he's going to get annihilated in coverage. There are people that talk about him going in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't one of them. I'm not that high on him. I'm not as high on the next guy. But if you put him in the right system, you could have something there.
All right, at number 11.
James Williams out of Miami. He played safety at Miami. He's going to convert to linebacker because he's 6'4". And he wasn't athletic enough as a safety. I've seen so many of these conversions go wrong because he will be a really good coverage linebacker if you can teach him the principles of it. I feel like people see guys do this, and they go, well, you could cover as a safety. That means you can cover as a linebacker. It's a completely different principle. It's a completely different technique. It doesn't always translate. Now, look, he was at the Senior Bowl. He was completely nondescript to me. I saw him because he is so physically imposing that it's kind of hard not to see him. But I never saw anything that made me go, that's more than a dart throw in the 4th, 5th round, and hope I can get the absolute most out of him. But I'm not positive that you ever will.
All right, let's go to number 12.
You had a lot of guys that fit right here, but there's two that I specifically wanted to talk about because I think their floors are so safe. Trevin Wallace out of Kentucky. He is a thicker kid. He's just really short, and he's kind of the jack of all trades, master of none. And maybe I'm falling for the fact that he's stupidly athletic. He kind of reminds me of Jamin Davis, and yes, I do understand that I always say I hate doing the helmet scouting thing, but you get a coach like Mark Stoops, that's what he wants. Mm-hmm. He wants a linebacker that is hyper athletic. That's what Trevin Wallace is. The thing that scares me is that he had one of the best defensive coaches in the country, and he wasn't better than he was. I saw a freak athlete a lot. I never saw a freak football player. And those guys worry me. They wash out at a ridiculously high rate.
All right, and lastly, for the top 13 linebackers in the 2024 NFL draft class, Flostradamus, who is it?
It's a tie. I have two.
Okay.
I couldn't differentiate the two because I like them equally. Teron Hopper out of Missouri, Curtis Jacobs out of Penn State. They're both absolute dart throws. They do completely different things. Jacobs is, I wish he was more fluid, but he's a really good tackler. And Teron Hooper is stupidly good in coverage.
Mm-hmm.
This is another one of those. I wish I could turn the two of you into one linebacker and watch you make Pro Bowls. Problem is I can't do that.
No.
So you're going to have to pair them with a very specific kind of linebacking core. But they're both draftable. And I'll be honest with you, from there, I have 3 draftable linebackers left in the entire class.
Wow.
256 picks. 257 picks, somewhere in there. I have 17 total draftable linebackers in the entire class that are natural off-ball linebackers. I don't put outside linebackers in a 3-4 into this class. So this is just the Peyton Wilson, Edge Cooper type off-ball linebacker.
Mm-hmm. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
All right, so far so good. And we're going to roll the beautiful weather into the afternoon. Hopefully you grabbed a jacket. A little chilly today, but that sun will feel pretty nice. That strong April sun angle. Near just above 60. A cold night tonight, low to mid-30s with scattered frost. Tuesday, sunshine, low 70s. Could be a few showers around Wednesday. Otherwise, sun and clouds, upper 60s. Thursday, sunny, near 70. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stidgick.
This report is sponsored by First Restoration Services.
Disasters at home from floods, fires, or storm is a homeowner's worst nightmare. It pays to have a professional on your side, and that's exactly what you get with First Restoration Services. They've built their business off trust, integrity, speed, and quality. Learn more online at FRS247.com.
Hey, if you're listening to me right now, I have one thing every business needs most: attention. Think about it. We swipe and scroll past stuff all day, but when we're driving, cooking, working out, we're also listening. That's the magic of audio at iHeart. We're in your next customer's ears while they're living life and listening, just like you are right now. So get your customers to listen up today using radio, digital, and podcasts. Call 844-ADD-HELP-5. That's 844-ADD-HELP-5.
The future of medicine is here at QC Kinetics. QC is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management we've seen in decades: regenerative medicine. If you are tired of achy joints, if your joint pain is keeping you from doing what you love, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Surgery, steroids, drugs, these are no longer your best options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results. We're talking natural biologics using your body's own power to repair and restore damaged tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkupp. Dr. Scheinkupp is a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing. He wants to get you relief with a needle, not a knife. Call QC Kinetics now to learn more about some exciting options. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. Phone 828-333-9517 in Asheville and in Greenville.
It's time for the 2024 NFL Draft, and iHeart is your home for the NFL Podcast Network. Get all the insights, mock drafts, and trade rumors. Listen to NFL podcasts on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart.
Let's go!
Open your free iHeart app and search NFL to start listening.
At Ingles, we're proud to work with hundreds of local farms and businesses in the communities we call home. Not only does it ensure that you get top-quality, fresh items for your family table, it's a way for us to support the amazing individuals who pour their heart and soul into delivering the very best they can do. Quality, freshness, community, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
We're back counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine, and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from: White Haze, Peach Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
It is ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy, and Jeremy, you are a traveler. You're not necessarily a world traveler, though.
No.
Have you ever been out of the United States?
Once. I went to the Bahamas, which was lovely. And I encourage it. Do I have any? I hear people, I'm going to go to Italy. Why? Why are you? I don't understand that. You don't speak the language. And unlike us, we don't just learn a language because that's what you speak. Mm-hmm. So you will go in there and have absolutely no idea what anybody's saying to you.
Jeremy has no reason to go to Italy because he's not a big wine guy.
So. I am not a big wine guy. And I mean, sure. I feel very sure the food in Italy would be out of this world.
Yes.
I am also a guy that likes Chef Boyardee, so I am not necessarily the most cultured palate that you have ever seen.
Right, and if you really wanted some fine Italian cuisine, you could just go to Marco's Pizzeria and be done.
100%, or to the Olive Garden, because when you're there, you're family.
Yikes.
I don't get it. There are some that I would do. I would do Ireland. I would do a few others. I like seeing the things in America. Mm-hmm. I would do Canada. I would go to Mexico.
Right.
I'm going to go somewhere that I don't speak the language at all. No.
Well, one place where, I mean, there's not that big of a language barrier. I mean, unless you're out in the middle of nowhere. In Australia. However, it's probably one of the most beautiful places on the planet, but it's terrifying.
Yeah, it has
I would never go there.
It has like 500 animals that can kill you just because you appeared.
Yes, and now there is a public service announcement that is having to go out to the folks of Australia because I guess they're having an uptick in bites.
Murder wallabies.
No. Snake bites. Right, because like 8 of the 10 deadliest snakes on the planet all live in Australia, all habitate there. Well, here's what people are doing. JoJo gets bit by a snake. Now he's, convulsing and stuff. They take him to the ER. Well, what do they think is going to help the treatment of said snake bite?
I know it, but I don't think I should say it.
We're going to bring the snake with us.
Oh, no, that's not where I...
So now hospitals across the outback are having to say, stop bringing us snakes. When you bring a snake into this ER, it shuts down everything we do. Like, we have to go get a wildlife specialist to come in and take the snake out. Like, we have to stop treating the people that are coming in. If you bring us snakes, stop bringing us snakes. Because guess what? The same antivenom works for damn near every snake. That is what the doctors are saying. I don't need to see the eastern brown snake that bit your friend. You can just say, hey, it was a brown snake, and we'll have some antivenom to give him.
And reason number one that you don't want to go to the Serengeti with Jeremy is because my solution was going to be to pee on it. That's my solution to everything. Jellyfish, brown snake, whatever you just said. And if I wanted to go somewhere that there was a great chance I would get bitten, I would just drive down to Haywood Road. Mm-hmm. My story, that was funny, and you did not laugh at it nearly hard enough.
I'm laughing.
My story is about the state of California and many states like it. Rise in crime. We have a border crisis. We have so many things that are bothering Americans today, and I am so glad that our legislature is doing something to combat it. Started with California. We have now gotten into New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Missouri has added a bill to tackle this too. And you ask, what possibly could it be? Could it be the border crisis? Could it be the war on crime? Surely, to God, with this many states, it has to be something that is really front of mind consciousness.
Yes.
It's called the Skittles bill.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's about things that are in popular candies and making them illegal. California already has one on the books that will ban Skittles in 2027. Now they're trying to take out Lucky Charms and Gatorade too. You know, I don't need a reason to distrust the government. I in the last week of my life have seen a grown man take a poop in public on a sidewalk. I don't care about Skittles. Oh, they got carcinogens in them. I don't care, okay? When they start putting meth in the Skittles, we can talk about the Skittles. Until then, maybe tackle something that means just a little bit to anybody else.
But what is
you morons?
But what is it about the Skittles that they're trying
It's
to
something
ban?
that long-term, if you ate 478 bags of Skittles a week, it's a carcinogen.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, maybe
like
stop
red dye
being such a fattest and maybe eat like 3 bags of Skittles a week. Hey, there you go. Make me the head of the FDA there, jackal. I just solved your problem. Hey, maybe do everything in moderation.
Good job.
I'll be the moderation monitor right here. This guy. Because if you're doing it more than I do it, you're doing it wrong. Boom.
We used to have Dr. Fauci. Now we have Dr. Douchy. Thanks.
I'm going to go home now because you will not beat that. That is the funniest thing you will say this week. Not even close.
I don't know.
I am so proud of you right now. Although that is what I called the first one that you said. So
Indeed.
That, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. 2024 NFL Draft right around the corner. This Thursday, we will have the live coverage of the draft for you on the YouTube channel. 12 to 3 each weekday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We will be right here. We won't be here. We'll be on here, but we will be in Detroit on Radio Row, broadcasting live from all of the festivities. And as just a look back on the last 40 years, we've been going through each and every team doing their top 5 draft picks. Jeremy will tell me where I'm wrong in my top 5 selections, as he did with the last one, or one of the last ones, with the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, Ray Lewis is one.
Agree to disagree.
Forever and for always. Jonathan Ogden belongs in the top 3.
Yes.
No, I wasn't trying to poo on him.
Just not number 1.
Ray Lewis is number 1.
Yes. So let's go to the Kansas City Chiefs. Last 40 years, top 5 draft picks. The last 40 years.
Pat Mahomes.
Number 1. Not even kind of close.
Pat Mahomes.
Yes.
Pat Mahomes again.
Can we do more than one guy for the top 3? Patrick Mahomes, number 10 overall in 2017. You were mocked for doing that.
Not by anybody smart in the industry. Here's my number 1 quarterback in the class.
Yeah, and then we all see what he's turned into.
Now, nobody, I don't care who you are, I don't care how much you loved him, you thought he was going to turn into this. But I did have him. He was actually if I remember correctly, and I have the notes up, I think he was the only first-round quarterback I had that year. Because I absolutely hated Deshaun Watson.
Did you?
And I didn't trust Mitch Trubisky as far as I could throw him. That's the part I always leave out, is that Pat Mahomes was one by default. He was the only one I liked.
Patrick Mahomes at 1. Number 2.
Travis Kelce.
It was not Travis Kelce.
You did it wrong.
Really?
100%. Frankly, I don't care what name you say here.
Tony Gonzalez.
Yep, still Travis Kelce. He's better tight end. They play the same position. 100%.
Okay.
Look, Tony Gonzalez is great.
Mm-hmm.
All time, no doubt. First ballot, blah, 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 blah. I got it. Travis Kelce's past him. You know why? Because Travis Kelce has something Tony Gonzalez doesn't.
Taylor
Rings. Well, he has that too.
A billionaire girlfriend.
Maybe I should denigrate him for precipitating this Taylor Swift thing on us.
Mm-hmm.
Although that was happening anyway.
You should.
He made it worse. It's way more annoying now.
Yeah. Travis Kelce was my 3 after Tony Gonzalez. Number 4, Will Shields. You got to go back a long way for that one. Back to 1993. He was the 74th overall pick and then went on to be just perennial All-Pro.
Okay. Now, this is the first time. This is the first time that I have had to ask you this question.
Yes.
Are you actively smoking crack?
Why?
Because you haven't said Derek Thomas's name yet, and
He's
that
5.
You're wrong. I could have gotten down with 2.
Oof.
I ain't getting any lower than 4. What in the world did you just book Derek Thomas for?
I don't know.
He's top 5 pass rusher ever.
Yeah.
And yeah, his life ended tragically short.
Yeah.
Does not change the fact of how good he was. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, you know what? I will go that far. He should be 2.
He should be.
He should be 2. Kelce should be 3. Tony Gonzalez should be 4, and then you can get to a guard. You really put more impetus on offensive linemen than I do.
Yes, I do. Then Chris Jones, Eric Berry.
Eric Berry didn't play nearly long enough.
Christian Okoye.
Oh, I forgot about Christian Okoye.
Tyreek
Was that in the last
Hill.
40 years?
Yeah.
I mean, I know he. Yeah, I guess
1987.
I guess it was.
1987 draft, number 35 overall.
Because 89 was his big year.
Mm-hmm. Tyreek Hill, number 165 in 2016. Jamal Charles, Larry Johnson, Neil Smith. There were a lot.
Neil Smith it's a
lot of really good ones. And then Jared Allen. I had forgotten that he was a Kansas City Chief.
I didn't, but I don't know where to put him.
He was just an honorable mention for me
I
because
can't
he was
put him
picked
ahead of
126.
any of the guys you just said.
No, he was number 126 in 2004. That's all well and good, but I mean, he really didn't do a whole lot for the Kansas City Chiefs. He had one good year, and then got picked up or traded or whatever to Minnesota. So there's the Kansas City Chiefs. How about busts?
Jonathan Baldwin was the first one that came to my mind. Whew, Lord, and I fell for him hook, line, and sinker. And I don't know if it's because Larry Fitzgerald had just come out of Pittsburgh a few years before. They played kind of the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was going to be a dog, and he was a dog. The only problem is he was a dog that couldn't catch Frisbee. So he'd run, throwing Frisbee, and you just watch it go over the cliff like, oh. Ryan Sims would be really high on this list. Glenn Dorsey would be really high on this list. Glenn Dorsey might be the most shocking, absolutely could not play dead in the Western of all 32 teams you're going to do.
Yeah.
I thought there was no miss with him.
No.
And he was genuinely awful. Awful. That's my top 3. I don't know what order. Probably have Dorsey 1, Baldwin 2, Ryan Sims 3.
Fair enough. Let's go Detroit Lions.
Oh God.
It's going to be a lot on the bus.
The 2000s.
Just all of it are going to be bad. But let's go top 5 picks of the last 40 years
Barry
for the
Sanders.
Detroit Lions. Barry Sanders is one.
Calvin Johnson.
That's number 2.
End of message.
Not necessarily end of message.
Matthew Stafford.
That's number 3. Maybe let's see if you can get them all.
Herman Moore.
That's number 5.
Who am I missing? Amon-Ra St. Brown.
You know, I didn't put him on the list just yet. I did not. I should have had him in the honorable mentions.
Yes.
No doubt. But it was a little early because I wanted to go that whole Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I just didn't do it yet. I didn't pull the trigger on that. Maybe the last 2 classes for the Detroit Lions need their own. No.
Yeah, you should do that class thing that you did.
Yeah.
Robert Porsche?
No, it's not Robert Porsche.
I feel like I'm missing somebody obvious.
I mean, there's one that you haven't said that was drafted in 2010. He was number 2 overall, and he was the most polarizing player in the NFL for quite some time.
Oh, you're going in Ndamukong Suh.
Absolutely in Ndamukong Suh. That guy was a force. No?
I mean, I get it. I have a completely different tact on Ndamukong Suh that a lot of other people do. I feel like the fact that he kicked people in the ding-ding made him way more famous than he ever should have been.
Really?
To me, he was a good player that got way too much. I always thought he was kind of a bust. Because he was supposed to be the best defensive tackle in the NFL. He never was. Not at any time for his entire career. He never did it, not one time. And then he bounced around the league like a ping pong ball. I get it. I don't like it. I would have Amon-Ra St. Brown ahead of. Right, and I'm talking right now.
Ahead of him.
That's how good he is and how good I think he's going to continue to be.
Yeah. I mean, we like the future for him.
I'm just curious. I want to dig in on that Ndamukong Suh thing. You keep
okay. Honorable mentions for the Detroit Lions were Graham Glasgow and Chris Spielman.
Frank Ragnow, I feel like, should be on that list too.
Frank Ragnow was on the on the honorable mentions as well. But you don't like offensive linemen.
It's not that I don't like them. You value them higher than I do.
Yes. If you were an all-pro offensive lineman for 6+ years and a Pro Bowler for 12+, you're gonna be top of the list.
Oh, I'm not
for
saying
most
I'm
franchises.
I'm not saying I'm trying to poo on them. I just it's 2 times now you've put offensive linemen over like all-time greats of the
because they're all-time greats too.
I get that, but they're linemen. I guess I just look at Will Shields and Derek Thomas and go, okay. Derek Thomas, Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tony Gonzalez, Will Shields. One of these things not like the others. One of these things just doesn't belong.
Hey, the Hog Mollies don't get enough love.
Okay.
So did you want to wrap up that whole Ndamukong Suh thing, or
I'm trying to. Apparently, he has disappeared off the face of the NFL world. I was going to give you where the highest that he has ever been. Nah, I'll pull it in the break.
The highest he's ever been?
PFF grade.
Oh, PFF grade.
It's a confined way.
Gotcha.
And I probably shouldn't have said he was a bust. He just wasn't as advertised.
I was going to say he was pretty damn good. The first 6 years of his career, he was a 5-time All-Pro.
Yeah.
First and second team.
You got to be careful with those. That's a tangent for another day.
With what? The All-Pro list?
You get some of that went in the top 5 in a position like that. Mm-hmm. They'll wind up on All-Pro lists if they're even serviceable. Literally, I don't even remember who was All-Pro this year. I can pull the list right now and tell you a guy that plays one side of the line that did not belong there.
Mm-hmm.
Promise you, without even looking, this has happened every year that I've been of conscious adult age.
This is like Buda Baker making All-Pro.
No, Buda Baker's fine.
He's safety list.
No, he's fine. You have metrics for guys like that.
Mm-hmm.
you get into a lot especially with interior linemen on both sides of the ball. You get into a lot of pressure rate and things like that. And that's all well and good, except it's not in a vacuum. So it's a lot harder for somebody to have a really high pressure rate when they're on a god-awful team. It's a tangent for another day.
Gotcha.
We're about to have 3 months where tangents will be the soup du jour.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
I still got to do the bus for Detroit.
Okay.
It's going to be a sizable list.
Yep.
The worst one I feel like has to either be Joey Harrington or Charles Rogers. I don't think I could put anybody above them.
Mm-hmm.
I fell ridiculously hard for both. Mike Williams is really high on that list. Then you get into the 90s were just – they had a lot of guys that you never heard from again.
Mm-hmm.
I can't put them into super bust territory because they weren't as highly thought of. Ernie Sims is another one that would be really high. Because he came to the league was just absolutely the most average linebacker you will ever see in your life. Bounced around. I remember him playing for the Eagles for a while. But he was never worth a top 10 pick. Gosder Cherilus. Never understood how he went in the top 20. That was young in my draft nerddom. But I never got that one. He survived in the league for a long time.
Yeah.
Nick Fairley. 1 year wonder.
Ooh. I remember thinking they're going to be unstoppable with Nick because they took Ndamukong Suh the first year and then took Nick Fairley the second year. And it did. It worked out for one whole year.
I will say Charles Rogers was number one. That dude has the best college wide receiver tape that I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And he just couldn't lay off the recreationals. Joey Harrington, the dumbest thing I've ever said about a draft prospect, I said about Joey Harrington. Now I was 16 years old. So
no, what was that?
He's the next John Elway.
Wow.
I said Joey Harrington was the next John Elway. I thought he was that good.
Missed it by that much.
He was the next Dan Elway, who I'm pretty sure is like an executive for FedEx.
He is a postal carrier of some kind.
Yeah. Joey Harrington would have been the best dock worker at Home Depot you've ever seen.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. Stick with us. Top of the hour coming up. We'll have another top 13 from Flostradamus. We'll get into the safeties of the 2024 NFL draft class. The key to any successful business is maximizing your reach. That's where the power of radio can help you get more customers in your doors and telling all of their friends about our friends. Hello, friends. Get your message to the masses through ESPN Asheville, the Sportsocracy, and iHeartMedia Asheville. Learn how all of our great partners like Ingles Markets, DraftKings Sportsbook, and Monster Brewing, to name a few, use us to continue to build their businesses. Just email me, Tank Spencer at iHeartMedia.com.
People are talking about Summit Dental in Asheville. Just check out their Google reviews. One patient writes, "I'll start by saying I really hate going to the dentist. My anxiety is always through the roof, and I'm always so nervous. However, Summit Dental may be the first place that my anxiety is actually not going through the roof. The staff that works at Summit are an incredible team. They're kind, knowledgeable, and funny. I left feeling confident that we have a plan to help restore my teeth and get me on track to a better smile. Find out more about Summit Dental at AshevilleSummitDental.com or call 828-277-6868.
To tell you that Keno picks 20 winning numbers, we wrote a winning number of our own. Hit it, boys. You pick up to 10. Keno picks 20. It's easy to play for a whole lot of money. Winning numbers are everywhere with Keno from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win a prize range from 1 in 3.86 to 16.63. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned plus a free hallway from Zero Res for only $109. Offer ends this week, so schedule your appointment now at ZeroResAsheville.com. Don't miss out. 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $109. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
Did you know Ingles only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
All right, so far so good. We're going to roll the beautiful weather into the afternoon. Hopefully you grabbed a jacket. A little chilly today, but that sun will feel pretty nice. That strong April sun angle. Near just above 60. A cold night tonight, low to mid-30s with scattered frost. Tuesday, sunshine, low 70s. Could be a few showers around Wednesday. Otherwise, sun and clouds, upper 60s. Thursday, sunny, near 70. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stidgick.
This report is sponsored by Robert Half. Robert Half research indicates 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Their recruiting professionals use proprietary AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, bank. That's bank. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingles studio.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400, and the Sportsocracy is heard everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app. We are seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel. That way you can join us in the chat, get all your Draftmas questions answered.
Yeah, we're going to knock out safeties here, and then basically have a big old segment for your questions. We've jotted down a few of the best ones, so get those in.
Yep.
This will be our last show before we before we land in Detroit. 3 days of Draftmas coverage. Simply having a wonderful Draftmas time.
Indeed. Radio Row in Detroit, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We will be bringing it to you live, courtesy of our good friends at Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. It is time for another Top 13 here, Flostradamus, at ESPN Draft Nerd Jeremy Greene, gracing us with all of his Top 13s at every position group. Finally, we have worked our way down to long snapper. Number 1.
Yeah, that's not happening.
No, we're not doing long snapper. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like kicker. Torrey Taylor, end of segment.
It's the only draftable one on the board.
He's punter. That's the only person who makes their living with their foots that I would be selecting in this here draft class, and I would do it and feel good about it from 250 to 256.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it gives me the angina.
No, safeties is the position group, one of the position groups that we have not done. We have not done quarterbacks or running backs. We will do those for you first day on the ground in Detroit.
So good. God. Oh, every time I hear that, yes!
So the number one safety in the 2024 NFL draft class, to you, Jeremy Greene, is who?
Tyler Nubin out of Minnesota. He's got a very Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to him. I don't know that he is fast enough. That's really my only knock on him. I mean, and this class is so bad. The size he plays at, I would expect him to have been faster than 4.6. But I watch him on tape, and to me, he is clearly the best safety in this class.
Okay.
I did not feel that way to start with. And then the more I watched of him, the more clearly he had separated himself. So, I mean, he didn't run at the combine. He ran at his pro day. I don't think he had to. I believe Tyler Nubin got a guarantee early on of you're the best coverage safety in this class. And you're the best all-around safety in this class. You're going in the top 50 no matter what you do. And this class is so bad, I'm not sure that you could get any higher than that. If he had come out and run a 4.35 at the combine, I'm not sure he would have gone any higher than he's going to go in this class. And so they just shut him down.
Yeah. How do you think he matches up? Like if he has to go up against a Travis Kelce,
that's going to be a bit of a chore. But he's way smaller than Travis Kelce.
Right.
He's just got a small frame. But I do think he's not as good as Brian Branch, who I loved last year. But he does kind of the same thing, and he's irksome. He also gave up a quarterback rating of 17.5 last year.
Wow.
Which is not QBR, quarterback rating.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Pretty
in college, that is insane.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that if you just threw it into the ground, it's higher than that.
Tyler Nubin out of Minnesota, the number one safety on the board. Number two.
I wanted to have somebody different here, but I can't let my own rose-colored glasses change the prognostications.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden Hicks, kid out of Washington State. I'm hearing a lot more talk about him sneaking his way into the top 50. He kind of reminds me of Brandon Joseph, the kid out of Notre Dame that I just loved last year, because he can do damn near everything. I'm just not sure he's got anything he can hang his hat on, because he's another one that's not crazy fast. He's not crazy, long. He doesn't have there's no measurable you look at and just go, that's what you're going to do. And that worries me. I think he's a really strong box safety. And I hate to say this, but I think his best fit is with my New York Jets. I love his fit with San Francisco, the Jets, Miami to a point. I think that defense is getting ready to change a lot. Or Houston. He's super smart, from what I understand, too. That was what really changed he was in the 4 to 5 range going into the process, and then all these teams brought him in the building, and they were just dumbfounded when they got him on the whiteboard of how smart this kid actually is.
Jaden Hicks out of Washington State. Number 3.
Now we have two that I swear to you, if I closed my eyes, I would get duped that they were the same person. Kalen Bullock is the first one out of USC. He is good in coverage. I am not sure he has any ability to play the run. So you're just going to have to drop him. He falls into that too high safety. He is a ball hawk, which you don't get a lot of guys in this class that are going to fit into that. But, man, he is god-awful against the run. I mean, you would watch some of the angles he took on tape, and my Lord have mercy, it was like he didn't even know where the ball was.
Mm-hmm.
So you're really going to have to nurture that. He's one that I would like in, say, a Baltimore, where you've got Kyle Hamilton, who's the move piece, and you're the drop. I was like, he can deal with that. You go back there and look for the ball.
Right, play center field.
Because you really seem to only be able to find the ball if it's flying at you. If it's running at you on the ground,
He's
not great.
Yeah. Okay, Kalen Bullock. And then
Javon Bullard out of Georgia. He's another one that against the run, you just leave a lot to be desired. I think he could be, in time, the best coverage safety in this class. He could also be so bad against the run. And I know people are going to – somebody somewhere is going to go, well, when I watched the tape, he was on the best run defense in the country. It's pretty easy to hide that. When you watch the biggest chunk plays that happened against Georgia in the run game, there is one consistent, and it's him.
Yep.
It's
Just
him.
missing angles.
All right, you're going to have to give me about 30 seconds to go on a little tangent here about safety.
Go for it.
Because I very often feel like people watch the result of plays and they don't watch why it happened. The why it happened is what evaluators are looking for, because you don't have a talent advantage like this when you get to the next level. He's another kid, super smart. I don't doubt that in any way. He's just not instinctive coming forward. He's really good going back. That tells me you're a drop safety. That's where you go. Because if I ask you to come up, if I'm getting bled like a catfish in the run game, I don't have the ability to ask you to come up and support because you just don't do it well enough. And then I'm basically playing 10 on 11. And it's hard for me. And there's so many safeties in this class that fall into that. I like you against the pass. This is a passing league. That's why you're going to go in the third round. 20 years ago, he'd have been an undrafted free agent. I promise you. He is not Ronnie Lott or guys from that era. He does work in this NFL. You're just going to have to kind of manage the expectations.
Okay, Javon Bullard at 4.
Yes.
Number 5.
This one's a little bit of a projection for me because not everybody thinks he's a safety, and that should tell you how good he can be in the slot. It's Renardo Greene out of Florida State. He was kind of the linchpin of the defense for a long, long time. He has one gigantic problem. His body lets him down. He's 6 foot, $186, and that's what he weighed in at the combine. I'm not sure he didn't play at 170 at Florida State. This is why people are not sure, is he a safety or is he a corner? If he's a slot corner, you're looking at a 5th-round pick because he's good at that. I just don't know that he's good enough at it to be worth the pick you're going to have to invest in him. Now, if you think you can bulk him up and get out of him against the run what they got out of him at Florida State, more power to you. That's probably a year away from being a thing. It'll probably take you a year to get his body right because he's just so damn slender. Now, I'm a little biased because I'm a Florida State guy. So he's one of my favorites because I've watched him make play after play after play after play. It's also hard to project him at the next level.
Renardo Greene at number 5. Number 6.
This is the one I really wanted to have higher, and I couldn't do it. Sione Vaki. I love raw talent. And Sione Vaki, I don't even think we know what position he actually plays. He played running back at Utah. Had some huge chunk runs offensively. And then dropped back and played safety. And I'm not even sure he knows what he's doing yet. There are times that he just looks like the football IQ is not high enough. The football knowledge is not high enough. And so if a team can figure out what exactly it is that he is, and I think he's a safety at the next level that you might be able to run some gimmick plays with, and I think he could be a whale of a weapon on special teams. If you can do that 2 years from now, this might be one of the great value picks of this class. He's so modern-day NFL because he can do so many things. And I think it was CBS Sports, Pete Prisco. I'm going to say way too many nice things about Pete Prisco today, by the way. I watched a full Pete Prisco YouTube video, and at the end of it, I went, I need to take a bath because I agreed, I think, with everything he just said. And that scares the Heber-Jeebers out of me.
I was going to say, it's not one that you usually agree with.
No, ever. You said usually. That should have been ever. I never agree with him on anything. Sione Vaki was the captain of his version of the Amon-Ra St. Brown team, which is guys he likes better than the industry does. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I heard that, I went, uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't like that I agree with you.
Come on. Everybody can be right once in a while.
He did 18 players, I think. There wasn't one that I went, that's dumb.
Really?
And there were about
impressive.
15 of them that were on my team, too.
Mm-hmm.
So either he's getting smarter or I'm getting dumber. And I'm not sure which one it is, but it gives me great angina either way.
We all know what it really is. He's just stealing your stuff.
That's not in any way true.
All right, continuing with the top 13 safeties in the 2024 NFL Draft Class. Number 6, Sione Vaki out of Utah.
And I can churn through these last 7 pretty quick because they all are kind of in the same boat of it's project. They're just different kinds of project. Number 7's Cole Bishop, who played at Utah with Sione Vaki. He's the more experienced safety. He's the one that's more entrenched at safety, which means he should be better, and he wasn't always. There are a lot of teams that I see him in the top 60 quite often, and that just scares me to death. Because I did rate him higher than the next guy, which is Cameron Kinchins out of Miami. I think the sky's the limit for him, but the floor is he's out of the league in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what to do with that. He is elite at times, and he is absolutely god-awful at other times. And I don't know what that is. It could be bad coaching. It could be bad instincts. Bad coaching I can deal with. Bad instincts, it's kind of hard for you to get over. Dadrian Taylor-Demerson is, let's see, that would be, 9?
Yes.
I did not have him this high until I started seeing his name all over the place, and I went back and watched the tape. There is a lot of raw athlete to him. I just don't see taking it over anybody that I've said here. Because his raw is you have the athletic ability to do it. You played at Texas Tech, and they just avoided you. That doesn't mean as much to me as it seems to mean to a lot of other people. Because that's what I saw is, man, the best plays defensively that I saw from Texas Tech was him way away from the ball. That could be a positive. You could be the reason that's happening, or the rest of your defense could be so absolutely unbelievably terrible that they don't have to challenge you. The next one's Tyke Smith. I'll let you wax poetic about him for a second because he's your Georgia guy.
Well, I feel like he's got some great tools, had some great tools at the collegiate level. I'm not sure how it translates to the NFL level.
It's too small.
Because at times he looked like he was the best player on that defense. Just there doesn't seem to be a lot of hype for him going into the NFL, and size, I guess, does matter.
Size does matter. I mean, look, and you're right. He was the best player on that defense at times. I wish he was 4 inches taller and weighed 20 pounds more. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. So the way he played in the collegiate level, I'm not sure it's going to translate because he strikes me as the kind of guy, the run support was really good, and he was a plus coverage guy. I'm afraid he's going to get washed out with the bathwater in the NFL because he's going to get a Joe Alt running downhill that'll just pick him up and throw him away like a mosquito.
Right.
Malik Mustafa is my 11. This is a Bob Brown special. He absolutely loves this guy. He is a thumper against the run. He's the same height as Tyke Smith, but he's way thicker, and he's not nearly as good against the pass. So he's a stereotypical box safety that goes in a single high look that really amps up how good you are against the run. And then my final 2 are Bo Braid, who's a kid out of safety. I just went full dyslexia and looked at the position and the university and flipped them.
Safety out of
Maryland.
There we go.
That he's just a jack of all trades, master of none. And I'm not sure he's ever anything more than a solid depth piece because I just don't think there's a lot to him. He can play right now. I just don't know that he's ever going to be elite. And then the last name I want to say, and it's solely because of the high side on him. If one safety in this class turns into the, wow, how did we miss him? And I struggle to say this kid's name. It's Ketan Oladapo from Oregon State.
Mm-hmm.
The good is, my God, he might be the best safety in this class. because he will absolutely ruin your soul. The problem is he looks like it's his first day on his new legs about half the time. I mean, when Forrest Gump had the braces on his legs and that's what I want to see him do. I want to see that stiff-legged thing he does go out the window and him just make a beat for it. And I can go, run, Katan, run! Problem is, I highly doubt that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And fast players will absolutely annihilate him. I got you could put him in the box.
No.
That's not how he's being projected, just to be clear. Which is why I'm afraid that's one of those we're going to look back on and go, hey, whatever happened to that guy? Did he ever play in the NFL? No, he didn't.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. That was the top 13 safeties of the 2024 NFL Draft Class by our very own expert at ESPN Draft Nerd, Jeremy Greene.
It is a lot to cram 13 players into one segment.
Yes, it is.
Especially when it's a segment that Tank went. Have fun.
Yep. Have at it. Because safeties, I know about 3 of them.
This safety class is awful.
And then beyond that, we'll see what happens. So, as always, I appreciate you doing the legwork for us on that.
There's no position in this class that I genuinely could tell you any of the 13 guys I just said, outside of Tyler Newman, who I believe is the one for everybody. You could tell me any of the other 12 names were your 2, and I ain't going to yell at you. If Oladapo's your 2 because you see something raw in him and he fits your scheme that well, okay. There's probably another team that looks at him and goes, if the draft was 43 rounds long, we might consider taking him in the 43rd round. It's just pick your poison, play your scheme.
You're in the Sportsocracy. We'll be right back.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
When the optimistic Billy Halpern meets a suspicious end, authorities focus on an ex-cop turned criminal, but the investigation goes nowhere for decades. Listen to the podcast Cold-Blooded as 2 investigators uncover a shocking motive in the pursuit of justice for Billy Halpern.
He was good looking, he was funny, everyone liked him. It's just a shame that they took him from us.
Listen to Cold-Blooded on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Cold-Blooded to start listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for is finally here. It's Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jeff Dye back in the ring for an all-new season of the Wrestling with Freddie podcast.
That's right, Freddie. Get ready as we highlight the most jaw-dropping matches, dissect the fiercest feuds, and uncover the latest twists and turns in the world of pro wrestling.
And we obviously can't wait to hear from you, the Federation. Without you guys, none of this is possible. Listen to Wrestling with Freddie on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
At Ingles, we're proud to work with hundreds of local farms and businesses in the communities we call home. Not only does it ensure that you get top-quality, fresh items for your family table, it's a way for us to support the amazing individuals who pour their heart and soul into delivering the very best they can do. Quality, freshness, community, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
We're back counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine, and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from: White Haze, Peach Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
We are back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. You can follow along. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. Get all your questions answered in the YouTube stream. If we can't get to it on the program, then I'm sure the members of the House of Reprehensibles will be glad to answer all of your questions in the chat. It always is a great time in the chat. Sparks up conversations. They keep it light. They keep it friendly most of the time. Just don't go in there and start talking smack about us, because we will get defended.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We
maybe
greatly
not so
appreciate
much me,
that.
but him.
Oh,
totally.
Somebody learned that. Somebody fafoed on the YouTube channel over the weekend.
Did they?
Some of that was mean. I didn't read a lie. If you're going to talk smack, don't put your ugly mug on your profile picture, because people will just smack you around. It's not going to go your way, bro.
So if you got draft questions, you can throw them into the YouTube chat. This is our last live show before we are on the ground at the 2024 NFL Draft. Thanks to Ingles Supermarkets, live from Detroit, Michigan, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week. First question in the YouTube chat, though, comes to us from Divine Comedy, who says, just a shot in the dark, what are the odds that a team picking at, 16 would be able to get a top 2 or 3 defender in this class?
50-50. My top 3 defenders in this class are Quinion Mitchell, Jared Verse, and Byron Murphy. I would say there's a 50-50 shot Byron Murphy's there.
Mm-hmm. One of them could be there.
Quinion Mitchell will not be.
No.
Verse might be. Murphy, there's a better shot that he will be. I can't find a good spot for him.
For Byron Murphy?
There are a lot of teams that make sense.
Yeah.
There are a lot of teams that make sense, but there's not one that I look at and go, there's no way they're going to pass on him. I look at the Raiders and go, there's no way they pass on Quinion Mitchell. Mm-hmm. I can't wrap my brain around it.
Yes.
And if they were, it would be for Terry and Arnold, because they rated him higher than I did. And then I can't see Quinion Mitchell falling past 17 to the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
But can you get a good defensive player there? Absolutely.
Yes.
Way more likely that you're going to draft Troy Fautano, bro. I want to say that to his face and see if he punches me directly in the jejunum.
Definitely punch you in the face. So sorry, Divine Comedy. Yes, there's a chance that there could be a top 2 to 3 defender there for you.
Only one I could see him taking is Byron Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
They're invested at edge rusher.
But what it appears is the chances that you will draft a defender.
Well, Fautano might be gone.
That is true.
The chatter on the Jets is pretty high. The chatter on a couple other teams in the first section of the teams is pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a great I told Tank in the break, there are certain names of guys in this draft that I don't want to hear your stupid name ever again, because I've said it like 5,000 times. Those 2 Washington offensive linemen, Fautano and Roger Rosengarten, I believe I've said their names each about 500 times between this show and other shows that I do. I am so tired of them that I need about a 3-year break before I'm even willing to talk about their play again. They're good players.
Mm-hmm.
It's just everybody seems to want to ask me about those two.
There is discussion going on of what, if anything, will the NFL do about the tampering claims.
Third-round picks is my bet.
This year? Mm-hmm. So they will come down with the decision before Wednesday.
I have heard, the latest rumor was that they were close to the end and they thought they could get it done before the draft. I do not know that that's true. And we're so close now, they may wait until next year anyway. But I would bet it's a third-round pick. We've done this before.
So the Atlanta Falcons with Kirk Cousins, apparently there was tampering that went on there. And what was the other one? There were two cases, weren't there?
It had Philadelphia involved. I can't remember.
With Saquon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Philadelphia with Saquon and who did we just say? Kirk Cousins in Atlanta. Those are the two tampering investigations going on. I mean, it's not going to rise to the level of taking away a first-round draft pick like happened in New England. More than likely.
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, New England was a multiple-time offender.
Yes.
Right. That's like 3 different times in a span of 3 years they had tried to reach out to Sean Payton and Tom Brady. So they slapped them pretty hard.
That was Miami, not
Miami, excuse me, not New England. So slap them pretty hard. I don't think that's the way this goes down, but who knows? A decision could be coming at any moment here. Also was asked in the YouTube chat, or said, I guess, Adam Schefter on Pat McAfee today apparently said that the Giants are hot on the number 3 pick from the New England Patriots. Are you buying it? Or is that a smokescreen?
The thing with the Giants is that they've been so hot on Michael Penix. I don't know that you would have put that out there so obviously if you were going to go the Drake Maye route because, look, I don't know that I am a lifelong New York fan. I grew up watching the Knicks. I've been a Jet fan for 35 years. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, if you draft Drake Maye, you're not going to get the reception you want because Giant fans will boo that mercilessly. Because him and Daniel Jones look a lot alike. Drake's got a way better arm, and I think he's got a way better head. But that's going to get universally panned.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look for it. I think it's more likely they take Malik Neighbors at 6, and then probably either trade back up into the back end of the first round or beginning of the second round for Michael Penix.
Fire away your draft questions in the YouTube comments. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, it'll be time for the most important message of the day.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
All right, so far so good. We're going to roll the beautiful weather into the afternoon. Hopefully you grabbed a jacket. A little chilly today, but that sun will feel pretty nice. That strong April sun angle. Near just above 60. A cold night tonight, low to mid-30s with scattered frost. Tuesday, sunshine, low 70s. Could be a few showers around Wednesday. Otherwise, sun and clouds, upper 60s. Thursday, sunny, near 70. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stidgick.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate. Why make things harder than they need to be? There's a better way to save time and money. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
Spring has sprung and it's full tilt boogie time at GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
QC Kinetics announces the arrival of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, an acclaimed orthopedic surgeon with 2 decades of experience and extensive research in regenerative medicine.
But I was one of the first orthopedic surgeons to do it, and at the same time I integrated clinical research that's resulted in several publications that are really directing the future of regenerative medicine. I was drawn to QC Kinetics after I reviewed their protocols, and everything they were doing is consistent consistent with my own approach.
Today, Dr. Shinecup leads the entire team of medical professionals at QC Kinetics, taking this exciting medical breakthrough to a whole new level.
What we are doing at QC Kinetics is transforming lives.
Get lasting joint pain relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
This is the future of medicine.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
The key to any successful business is maximizing your reach. That's where the power of radio can help you get more customers in your doors and telling all of their friends about our friends. Hello, friends. Get your message to the masses through ESPN Asheville, the Sportsocracy, and iHeartMedia Asheville. Learn how all of our great partners like Ingles Markets, DraftKings Sportsbook, and Monster Brewing, to name a few, use us to continue to build their businesses. Just email me, Tank Spencer at iHeartMedia.com.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
Breaking news time, Jeremy Greene.
It's for me and Rappaport at Rap Sheet on the old Twitter machine. Former New York Jets starting quarterback and number 2 pick Zach Wilson is on the move.
Oh.
He is being traded to the Denver Broncos. That's right. You get new uniforms for me to make fun of and a new quarterback for me to make fun of all in the same day. It's like the Russell Wilson era all over again. The trade involves the 207th pick going to the New York Jets for the 256th pick, which means Mr. Irrelevant going to the Denver Broncos. Oh, and they also got the last pick in the draft.
Aww.
Ah! See what I did there? You were a big old bust, and I'm glad I never have to look at your stupid face again. You cherub.
I love it. I love it. I love that you're just completely out on Zach Wilson.
Oh, I hate
when
his
you're
face.
still holding on hope for Sam Darnold.
Oh, I hate it. The difference in those two is night and day.
Is it?
100%. 100%. You were handed a team last year that people thought was going to go to the Super Bowl. Sam Darnold got Robbie Anderson, who 15 minutes later changed his name to Robbie Chosen. Yeah, there's a little difference there. Look, Zach Wilson's got all the arm talent in the world. He's also got about a 14-cent brain, and that's marked down at the Dollar General. And you can get it in the bin where all the meth addicts hang out. So, Sean Payton, you want to play that? Have fun. Looking forward to it. Jared Stidham, Zach Wilson, training camp battle. Bronco country. That's right.
And now, Jeremy Greene, it is time for the most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes!
Don't do crimes.
The Jets already did. They robbed the Broncos.
Oh,
shoot!
Speaking of Denver, here's another story out of Denver where last week the baseball team there in Denver, the Colorado Rockies, they were on a flight from Denver to Toronto to go play the Toronto Blue Jays. They were taking a United Airlines charter flight when at some point during the flight, hitting coach Hensley Mullins tweeted out a video of him sitting in the pilot's seat on that April 10th flight. While they were at cruising altitude, the autopilot was engaged, And the video also included a lot of cutting up that was going on in said cockpit. Does anybody know what's wrong with that?
You're not supposed to be in the cockpit while the plane's in motion.
That's right. That is federal law, that no one outside of the staff should be in the cockpit area whilst the flight is engaged and in the autopilot mode and at cruising altitude and all of that. So if, on our flight to Detroit, somebody goes, hey, y'all are those dumbasses from ESPN Asheville. You want to come up to the cockpit? Then we have to say no, Jeremy. That's not a thing. See, I'd always heard, like, in movies and stuff, I see, like, the little kids upset. So, hey, would you like to go up to the cockpit? I didn't know that this was a federal rule, that no one is allowed on the flight deck at certain times during the flight. And so now the FFA is investigating, or not the FFA, that would be the Future Farmers of America. The Federal Aviation Administration is, the FAA, is now investigating, and I got a good feeling that there's a couple of pilots who are looking for new jobs right now.
I would say you're most likely right. My story and yours are more similar than you would want them to be, even though they're very different. Comes from the state of Louisiana. At some point in all of our lives, we learned to ride a tricycle. My story is about 31-year-old woman, and her name is Shadonna Heard.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, she never learned.
She related to Amber Heard?
Based on this story, possibly. She lived in an apartment complex, and apparently she was a big fan of her neighbors, who, according to this story, didn't know anything about Miss Heard.
Uh-huh.
But and I don't have the exact date of the story. I have the time, but not the date. Thursday night, whatever Thursday it was.
It was last Thursday.
I'm going to assume. Might have been Thursday before, but it was a Thursday night. It was about 11:15. She knocked on the door of the couple that lived next door to her. She finagled her way inside in spite of not being allowed in, and then she tried to initiate a encounter between her and the couple.
Oh, wonderful.
That she was not either asked or desired for. At which point, the man of the relationship went, "Get out of my house. I'm calling the cops." So Miss Heard did exactly what you would do. She walked to the Circle K. You had your sexual advances declined.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that probably really hurts the old ego. So you go get a Skittle and a big gulp
and
from the old Circle K.
Yeah. Nothing makes rejection go down quite like a Slurpee.
Tank, I don't often say that people should have a personal motto, but I feel like that was yours in your 20s.
Pretty much.
Anyway, all of that would be fine, except the police were informed that someone had seen her walking to the Circle K. They saw her go in. Cops show up. She had her Slurpee or her old Skittles there, whatever it was she had. She then proceeded to get into a fight with the cops because the cops tried to detain her for the felonious charges that she was being charged with. So you add resisting an officer on to felony unauthorized entry of an inhabited dwelling, disturbing the peace, criminal damage to property, and the aforementioned resisting the peace. All because you can't figure out how the app Tinder works. Look, I'm going to be real honest with you, and this is the most honest thing you're ever going to hear me say on this show. If you can't find what she was looking for in this society, you're either really bad at this or you're not trying hard enough, because there are a lot of lazy people who just want somebody to love. I'm married, so it's not, I heard.
Mm-hmm. I heard.
I was a virgin when I met Amy, so I got no idea.
Right.
Heard it's been a struggle for a lot of people. Heard it's not been a struggle for many others. Swipe left, swipe right.
No, it's a sad tale of a lonely woman just out on the search for a Slim Jim. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. NFL Draft right around the corner. 2024 NFL Draft gets underway this Thursday night in Detroit, Michigan. Yes, we will be live. Thanks to our good friends over at Ingles Markets. Go ahead and go over to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can follow along and get all the alerts whenever we are live from Detroit. Be a lot of extra content, breaking news alerts and things like that. A lot of opportunity for that throughout the next few days in Detroit. Jeremy will be on M&M watch, hoping that he can catch a glimpse of his new best friend.
Oh, no doubt. But my number one goal that's not true. My number one goal is to provide you with the best NFL draft coverage humanly possible.
Good for you.
My number two goal is to see Roger Goodell at some point, just so I can, as loudly as humanly possible, go, the D. It's the greatest commercial ever.
Back to the YouTube comments for questions here, draft related. Dylan Joyner wants to know if it's possible, Jeremy, that y'all's Jets could trade up to 5 or 6 in order to secure Joe Alt.
Possible, yes. Likely, no. The Jets, as of right now, are pretty locked in on getting a pass catcher for Aaron Rodgers. They want to completely annihilate that Aaron Rodgers has only thrown a touchdown pass to one first-round pick in his career. Because if they do draft either Rome Odunze or Brock Bowers, he would now have 3.
Yes.
Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, and whichever one they draft.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how that goes.
Yes.
Now, where that could change is if Alt were to fall. If somehow he got past Tennessee and he was sitting on the board at 8, I can't tell you that they wouldn't make that call. I know they like him. I just think they like the two pass catchers better.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So you think they're no doubt going with some pass catcher at 10?
Well, I mean, unless Odunze and Bowers were both gone, at which point I believe they would go Troy Faltona.
Okay.
That's what I think. Now, which one of their newly acquired offensive linemen would get booted to the curb? That I can't answer you.
What's your percent chance, Alex Majabi wants to know, that the Cardinals will trade out of 4?
5.
5% chance that they trade out?
I would say 5% chance. And I might be high on that. They have 2 receivers they love. Now, if they got to a path where they thought they could, like if the Giants called and they knew it was for a quarterback, okay. I can trade back. You're going to come up here and get J.J. McCarthy. I'm going to drop down to 6, and you'll make the decision for me. Because then I think if Marvin Harrison Jr. was there at 5, I think the Chargers would have to do it. Not positive of that, but I think they would.
Mm-hmm.
But going back any further than that, you're getting into the third receiver in the class who you may or may not love. You open up a whole can of worms. I just don't think they're going to do that. They already have a lot of draft capital. You know, it'd be one thing if this was a team that was killed capital-wise. They're not. They have 2 first-round picks. They have an extra third-round pick? I know they have
Sounds
6 picks in the top 100 or something ridiculous like that. Them and Washington have a bajillion picks. And I say this every year, be wary of those teams. Because those teams do not want 9 guys that are rookies that they're expecting to play high-level snaps. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yes. So we'll look to package those up, maybe turn those, like I've said before with Arizona. That's fully what I expect them to do, is to try to package, 5 of those top 70 picks together and maybe have 3 top 70 players or 3 top 45 players or something to that effect.
Teams that have that much capital, you should look to trade up, not down.
Yes.
We have a very sizable super chat in the old YouTuber.
No, that deserves a...
Yeah! It's from our buddy Colin. Said he hadn't done this in a while. Asking how everything's going with us. We're good. We're just, getting ready for all of the things and making sure that we don't forget any of the equipment for the trip to Detroit. And he asked what I think the Chiefs are going to do in the draft and go into detail. Okay, so I was going to save this for the mock draft, but since Colin so graciously sent in a very sizable super chat, which will help all the things when we get to Detroit. We have penciled in Kansas City taking a receiver in the first round.
Yes.
I see almost no path that they do.
Why?
They're going to take a left tackle. It's a question of which one. And as of right now, Kansas City is one of the teams that I'm still stuck on in the media mock draft. I think their choice would be Jordan Morgan. If it was up to them and just every guy outside of the ones that are obviously going to be gone, I believe that's the one they would want. Tyler Guyton would probably be 2, and don't sleep on Kingsley Suamataia. If you look at the guys that they have brought in over the course of the process, it's been a whole mess of offensive linemen. One of the places that I get burned from time to time is that I lock in on visits. Who have you had in the building? And Walter Cherepinski and Charlie Campbell, the guys from Walter Football, once told me that the biggest mistake that you're making is you're worrying about who they're bringing in. It's not who that will tell you what they're doing. And I'd see you nodding because I think I've told you this 100 times.
It's the position group.
It's the position. So you look at Kansas City, and I'm pulling up the list now. I wasn't completely prepared, but anytime somebody throws in a super chat like that, I'm going to do my bestest to make sure that I give the best answer humanly possible. Guys they have been affiliated with over the course of the process. They had Kingsley Suamataia. They had Caden Wallace from Penn State. They had Patrick Paul. Christian Mahogany, he's a guard, but still trying to satiate the offensive line. And they had combine contact with a slew of other offensive linemen. That tells you that's what they're really prioritizing because you only get so much time. So something Tank and I learned firsthand at the combine, I just thought you had people all the way up and down the front office that were meeting with guys at the combine. That's not the way it worked. These guys were all hemmed up in offices around the Indiana Convention Center, and they were bringing in specific players. So you were getting a lot of guys at one time as opposed to, hey, a scout went and talked to him to pick his brain. Now, if they met with you at the combine, that means something. I told you I watched Brock Bowers walk into a room with Joe Douglas and went,
he went into a lot of rooms that day. Brock Bowers.
Brock, oh, yeah, he did. I thought you were talking about me, and I was going to say, you don't know the half of it. Some rooms that I was probably not supposed to go into, but I did. The other thing I would look at is, obviously, you're going to add a receiver. The Rashee Rice thing, it appears that that's going to be a multi-game suspension. I'll go ahead and tell you, I think it's 2. The Players Union, they might come back with 4. The Players Union will jump in immediately and go, you have there's no statute for this. There's no history of doing this way. Because to the best we can tell, nobody got hurt. You had damaged cars. You had a Rashee Rice that had to turn himself in.
Well, there were a couple of people that had to go to the hospital for treatment, but it wasn't serious. It wasn't
treatment in a car wreck could be as simple as that's more likely you get sued civilly.
Right.
Yeah, that's my neck hurts.
Right.
Because, hey, doesn't that guy play for the Kansas City Chiefs? I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying I've seen it happen a bunch.
Well, they saw a Lambo and they went, ow, ow, ow.
That wasn't
Lambo.
A 1997 Honda Accord that hit us. It was a Lamborghini. Honey, fall down. We're all hurt now. So you're going to address receiver. I'm not sure that Kansas City sees that as big of a need as the rest of us do. Because, yeah, they talked to a few. Anthony Gold, he's a slot receiver out of Oregon State. Sorry, the code on my sheet threw me off because it's the wrong code. So I don't know if they had him in or if they just talked to him at the combine. But other than that, it's really only Jalen McMillan. And I would say if I could get Brett Veach and the whole brain trust of Kansas City into a room right now, I would say their best case scenario is that they go Jordan Morgan at 32, then they get Jalen McMillan in the second round, and then they start really working on the defense. Because they've had a lot of guys from Austin Booker, Christian Boyd, that's been really popular in this pre-draft process. Marshawn Nealon, who I think is a fallback plan for them in the second round if none of the receivers they like are there. And McMillan may not be. but you look at it, there's not a ton of pass catchers. That makes me think either you're dead set on a guy that you know is going to be there, which I don't think is the case, or you're addressing something else first. You know, Mike Baker said they don't want to re-sign Donovan Smith. I don't blame them. And so I think if they have the opportunity to take somebody that they believe is a left tackle, they'll do it. And from everything I've heard, that would be Jordan Morgan. Yep. And then you fall into some defensive pieces and you take some shots. I do have one of these on every team. And since, Colin so graciously threw the big old super chat out there, I'll give this one to you now. A name to watch with Kansas City, and I've been told this by several different people. Watch Devondre Sweat. Chris Jones fell. People don't remember this. Chris Jones fell because he had some I don't want to say what I think it is because I don't remember if I'm right or not. He had something happen in the pre-draft process very similar to what happened with Devondre Sweat. They had him as a top 15 player on that board. I think they have Devondre Sweat that high because I know there is a team that has him that high, and there's been a lot of smoke with him. So if he were to fall, I don't know how far he would have to fall for Kansas City to be comfortable. It might be to the end of the second round if Jalen McMillan's not there. I don't really know. But that's just a name to keep under your hat. Because anytime I get all the way through the process, and every person I know affiliated with a team says, hey, I know they really like that guy. That means behind closed doors, they're hearing a lot of that. They're hearing a lot of, that's the dude. That's the – because I talk to a lot of podcasters. I talk to a lot of radio guys that work with these teams. They will start floating these things of hate. Don't go out on your Twitter and say we love the guy. But if you start doing draft profiles, you should fixate on that guy because we want to position the fan base. They're not expecting you to take a defensive tackle. So you throw it out there, you show the highlights, and you get the fan base prepped for we're going to do that. That came from somewhere. And it's a great chance that that's where it's from. I hope that was an appropriate answer to your question, Colin, and we greatly appreciate you and everybody else that listens to this here program.
Yes, indeed we do, and we will be bringing you all the best draft coverage live from Radio Row in Detroit, Michigan when we return with you on Wednesday. We will be live from the scene.
Soaring Eagle with a quick super chat on our way out. Oh, hit your button. Yeah! He honestly, low-key, likes the Zach Wilson move. I mean, look, you got him for nothing. Nothing. Zero. I am sad the Jets, we lost out on Mr. Irrelevant. That's sad. We haven't had one of those since the year after we won the Super Bowl. I was trying to, switch it up. Maybe take him the year before we won the Super Bowl this time. But he also said, go get me Brian Thomas Jr. That's a name that's falling a little bit. Just I'm glad he said that because I hadn't had the chance to say it today. That's a name that is falling and a name that I'm going to keep an eye on when we get to Detroit. But our next show, I will have many little draft trinkets for all the good boys and girls of this here show.
Yes, the latest news and storylines from Detroit live coming your way right here in the Sportsocracy on a Wednesday at noon. Travel day tomorrow. We'll be safe, and we'll see you then.
Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned plus a free hallway from Zero Res for only $109. Offer ends this week, so schedule your appointment now at ZeroResAsheville.com. Don't miss out. 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $109. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
The chase for the cup is on, and if you're looking to light the lamp, nothing beats the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. DraftKings has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. And this week, all North Carolina customers can place a pre-game moneyline bet on Carolina, and if they lead by at least 2 goals at any time during the game, you win, even if they end up losing the game. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code WPEK. New customers, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's code WPEK only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. One early win per opted-in customer. Max bet limits apply. Token expires at the start of the game. See dkng.co/ice for wagering eligibility and terms.
Careers in short-term rehabilitation and long-term care require individuals who seek purpose, both professionally and personally. Sandstone Health and Rehabilitation sets the standard for excellence by hiring people who want to make a lasting difference. We encourage you to join the compassionate team where opportunities are more than jobs. They're careers with purpose. Are you ready to begin your journey? Explore our openings at sanstonehealth.com/careers.
Join the MB Haynes family and enjoy excellent benefits, including medical, dental, and life insurance, 401k, employee stock ownership program, holidays, and paid vacation. MB Haynes has an immediate need for HVAC commercial service techs, plumbing, and electrical technicians. If you're ready to make a career change that positively impacts your workday and your time off, go to mbhaynes.com/careers to view available positions and apply. That's mbhaynes.com/careers. MB Haynes. Quality, commitment, character.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
All right, so far so good. We're going to roll the beautiful weather into the afternoon. Hopefully you grabbed a jacket. A little chilly today, but that sun will feel pretty nice. That strong April sun angle. Near or just above 60. A cold night tonight, low to mid-30s with scattered frost. Tuesday, sunshine, low 70s. Could be a few showers around Wednesday. Otherwise, sun and clouds, upper 60s. Thursday, sunny, near 70. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview,
Nelson will get it across.